ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
What's grab?
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. What's grab?
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
What's grab?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The tape. What's grab?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Found guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
What's grab?
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. What's grab?
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
What's grab?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut up
tape.
and grind.
What's grab?
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Do that. Why don't more QBs break the mold?
Why don't more QBs wear ugly, like, Friday Night Lights numbers?
Yeah, like 22.
Yeah, like, what was Buddy's name in Friday Night Lights, the quarterback?
I don't remember.
Oh, man.
It's been a while since I've watched Friday Night Lights.
You ain't got one for me? You ain't got a name for the quarterback that played for the Permian Panthers?
Sorry.
Mike.
Oxlong?
No, what's Mike's last name? I don't know, but we got a great show for you guys tonight. It is a loaded one. Last show, best show. We're going to rank the first-year starter situations. Got a lot of quarterbacks entering their first year starting at their football program. We're going to talk about it tonight. We got some Arch Manning news. We're going to put that in quotations because I feel like we've been talking about it for a while. Is college football lacking premier star power at the running back position? We'll talk about why maybe tonight. Injury concerns continuing at one SEC football program. And I'm excited about the temperature gauge segment tonight. We have always talked about wishing we could gauge the audience for specific fan bases, and I think we're going to do a good job tonight. At least maybe getting an old dipstick into that fan base. Maybe not a full temperature gauge, but just checking that oil maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And we also have our Big Ten predictions tonight, as you can see by the title of tonight's show. Hoping that doesn't steer people away. I do feel like we are regionally based here. We have slightly grown outside into the SEC network. We got some Ohio State fans here and there. We got some Michigan fans here and there.
That one Penn State fan.
That one Penn State fan that showed up that one time. I know we got Notre Dame fans in here, but hopefully the Big Ten segment tonight, at least being titled that way, doesn't steer too many people away, because most of tonight's show will obviously not be about that. It'll be about everything in college football. Let's get after it. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. And if you are new to this show, okay, if you have not subscribed yet to this platform, give me about 2 hours to earn the right to get that subscription tonight. Let's get after it. Boys, like I said to start the show, we got a bunch of quarterbacks entering year one as a starter. Now, full-time starter, okay? So you're going to see some names in here that have started football games, but this is their first full full year being the guy at their university. So we're going to rank it 10-1. These are the universal rankings here on the network. We decided these before the show. We're going 10-1. Now, the worst situation that we are going to rank tonight. Now, they're all really good situations now, okay? But this is the worst of them. I think Notre Dame comes in at number 10 for a variety of reasons for me, guys. First and foremost, whoever wins that job here at Notre Dame, in terms of the blue blood programs and first-year starters, this is the only real competition that we're going to talk about tonight. The other 9 guys ahead of this group right here at Notre Dame, they're all kind of the starter. So for that reason alone, I feel like Notre Dame comes in at number 10. Now, the other reason I think is because if it ain't CJ Carr, if it is Kenny Minchie, based off the inklings and what my Twitter timeline and what my Notre Dame constituents that I interact with tell me, there's going to be a lot of people waiting to be rooting for CJ Carr to get into football games if it is indeed Minchie.
I mean, there's always the, grass is greener on the other side idea of the backup. I think another component to take into consideration with this is that you, as your first year of starting quarterback, is expected to follow up a team with a quarterback and everything else on it. Let's be honest, overachieved last year. People didn't expect Notre Dame to be a national championship team. People didn't expect Riley Leonard to play as well as he did down the stretch. So you have to now live up to that. It's an unfortunate situation, I think.
Well, I think too, that plays into the Notre Dame's quarterback situation is that I think they have good weapons. I don't think they have great weapons. So I think that, I don't know if you have guys in that wide receiver room that you can just fully lean on, guys that you can have win now moments. And also too, they have Jeremiah Love, but Jeremiah Love has been banged up a good bit of his career. So if you don't have him in particular games, that also puts a lot more pressure on your shoulders as well as a first year starter.
And I mean, they have a good, clean starting 5. I think Notre Dame has one of the best starting 5 offensive lines in returning football. I believe that. But of any program that we're going to talk about tonight, their depth got pillaged, I feel like, by the portal at the offensive line position specifically. So we'll see what they got coming. I know they're going to be good first month of the season, but when football starts to happen and injuries start to happen, how does that depth bounce back considering that? I think they lost 3 guys in their backup positions to the portal.
Yeah.
And they're going to start for Power 4 football teams this year. So they got kind of, I'm not going to say ravaged, but they got kind of torn apart via the portal. Number 9, again, first year truly starting. I think the schedule is brutal enough to put DJ Lagway this far down onto this list.
Well, that, and we've talked about it. The offense doesn't necessarily label itself as quarterback friendly. There's a lot of booms in it, and there's a lot of moments that DJ Lagway can make himself an impressive thrower.
Ain't easy.
But yeah, I mean, we talked about it. He's got a 62% completion percentage right now.
Yeah, well, I think it was on 61,
yeah.
right at it. Yeah.
It's a small sample size because he only started 6 games last year, didn't even finish all 6 of those. Yeah. But the reality is that you have high expectations for you. The offense isn't necessarily friendly to what you are trying to do as a quarterback. And on top of all that, the schedule is just brutal.
Yeah, schedule's brutal. I know people are high on their offensive line, but I think too, the wide receiver room as well. A lot of people are high on that, but they're kind of working in some new parts into that. And you got multiple guys missing time quite a bit there. So I don't know that this is going to be a very cohesive unit to start the season off. But he has a great run game to go alongside that.
We don't always look at the chat. We don't always talk to the chat, but I do want to bring this up because I think this talks to what I hope this place will ultimately be. Buckeye fan. This is from Sean Emerson. He says, "I wish you would do more Big Ten stuff. Stumbled across you not long ago, and love your analysis and energy. Too many neutral channels lacking real ball knowledge to give proper takes." Here's what I want people to leave this place saying. The only thing I care that they say: A, those guys love football. They love what they're doing. B, they damn sure know football. That's it. That's all I care. You stop by here. You know we love what we do based off the energy and the passion that we bring to it. And we know what we're talking about with regards to the game of football. I've always said it. There are a ton of people on the internet that are talking about football. Okay? This is a place where we talk football. There's 2 total different sides of this content creation. I think we do the talking football side better than anybody on the internet. So I appreciate that comment from my man right there. And we do got some Big Ten content from you tonight. Speaking of the Big Ten, I put Dante Moore number 8 on this list. Okay, obviously the schedule is really, really beneficial for a first-time full-year starter for him. We know we started at UCLA a couple of games, but we watched it. I'm concerned about where he's at from a football confidence standpoint.
Yeah.
If you watch what happened to him at UCLA, there is good reason to believe or good thought process to think that guy might be scarred a little bit. We're going to have to provide confidence for him to start the season. I put him in number 8 for that reason. It was that bad at UCLA, man.
On the flip side, though, compared to what DJ Lagway has, this guy has a very friendly schedule to be a first-year starter.
But, I mean, I say Lagway's got 5 times the amount of weapons or at least answers when healthy than what Oregon's got right now.
Sure.
It's Dakaria Moore, who is an unknown 5-star, and a bunch of unknowns out there at Oregon, and a really talented tight end who I think the world's going to get to know about in terms of his athleticism. But there are not a lot of weapons out at Oregon this year.
And they got a solid running back. I think it was Mekhi Hughes is his name. He went for like 1,400 yards last year. That's a transfer that they acquired this year. So we'll see what that happens for them as well.
Yeah. Number 7, you got anything to add on Dante Moore? Number 7, I put Bryce Underwood here down on the bottom in terms of, I mean, of all of these quarterbacks, does he have the least amount around him in terms of talent?
Feels that way.
It certainly feels that way.
Now, again, Michigan fans, if you're here today, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know where it's at in terms of the elite talent at the skill positions around Bryce this year.
I mean, even when the talent was at its highest, like when they won their national title, like as far as receiving goes, it was Roman Wilson and a bunch of other guys just kind of piece things together. So even when they did have great weapons, or what people thought they had great weapons, it really wasn't like comparable to like what the other teams across the country
Here's
had.
what I will say about Bryce's situation. Of all of these guys, he is the most pressure-free. This is a pressureless season for Bryce. So for that reason, he might be able to go up this list in terms of, again, we're ranking the situations for these first-year starters. This is the only true freshman on this list, I believe, though. So that's another reason why he's a little bit further down this list. We're going to go through some growing pains.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys where, I mean, the Michigan fan base is super high on him. Just ask anyone in that fan base what they think of him. And on top of that, if you string together a good game or two or have a good stretch, or God forbid you beat Ohio State again, he's going to immediately be anointed a Heisman contender next season. Like all of the hype train will go to him. So he's kind of playing with house money right now. So I agree.
And a lot of money.
A lot of that.
You got anything on Bryce?
I kind of already gave my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, good offensive coordinator as your head coach too. Like Sharon's going to have a good, solid run game plan at least put in place for you guys. Not going to ask the quarterback to do a whole lot. I mean, hell, they didn't ask J.J. McCarthy to do a whole lot as a junior getting ready to be a first-round draft pick. Number 6 for us, Marcel Reed. Again, started some games last year, but this is his first time being the guy. I think some of the things in front of him, I think situations in front of him are just a little bit more ideal in terms of what's around them. But I love that Marcel not only has a great offensive line around him, a great run game around him, but he's also got a coordinator in Colin Klein who I feel like could really accentuate his skill sets.
Yes.
Like Colin was an RPO guy, now much bigger, much more physical, but in terms of getting the quarterback involved in the run game, getting the quarterback involved in the RPO game, making defenses fear the quarterback's legs, Marcel's got a very similar skill set to what Colin had himself.
Yeah, and I think it was very evident last year when Marcel Reed did play and when he did start. He was playing in a system. He was a very talented quarterback in a system that was not dedicated to his strengths and his skill set.
They were piecemealing it.
Yeah, you now have an entire season of Colin Klein archetyping a type of offense that is dedicated to that. The one thing that I am kind of worried about for him, and they went and answered that problem with Casey Concepcion in the transfer portal, but Noah Thomas and him really created a good combo last year. Obviously, he transferred to Georgia, so I think building a rapport with your wide receiver team is going to be important.
Not only that, did they lose Noah Thomas, but Brooks and I have been watching some wide receiver reps, and not to do that. I know we talk about don't fall for the propaganda when it comes to fall camp clips, but these clips are doing no favors to Texas A&M's weaponry right now.
Honest to God, it's why I've always been on the side. If I were a football coach, y'all wouldn't be in here with no video. Ain't no way. Ain't no way any media outlet would ever be in my college football practice with video.
Hell no.
I just wouldn't allow it. It's too conducive for overreactions both ways, negative and positively. Something positive happens at practice when media is there. Oh, the internet thinks y'all are the greatest thing in the world. Y'all are undefeated. If you don't do it, you're garbage, football coach. Look how much talent y'all had on air. If you're terrible on air, everybody thinks you're the worst football team in the world. The A&M practice stuff that's come out, I don't love it. Especially from the wide receiver stuff and the connectivity between the quarterback. But they're going to be a run football team anyways.
Right.
Texas A&M's offense will go how Le'Veon Moss and the offensive line goes, so I'm not too worried about it. Number 5, in the terms of situations for first-year starters, I got Austin Simmons, okay? I think he's working with a lot less than some of these other guys in terms of skills around him. I don't love what Ole Miss has got. In fact, I don't know what Ole Miss has got from a skill set position. I know Caden Lee returns, a friend of the show, came on the network at SEC Media Days. I love the transfer they brought from Wake Forest, who I'm drawing a name of last, Deuce Alexander. I love that kid. Loved him out of high school. Thought he should have played a lot more last year at Wake Forest. Came to Ole Miss. Think he's going to do some good things, but don't know a whole lot about what Austin Simmons has got around him. I do know I sure as hell would love to play for Lane Kiffin.
That was what I was going to say. I was trying to think of it like, what's the last time dating from Alabama to FAU to now when Lane Kiffin
sucked.
When Lane Kiffin has had a quarterback that was just like, that guy is garbage. He's not good at all. Like, that offense has always kind of ran through what the quarterback can do, and Lane Kiffin's always put them up for success. So now, it's a great situation.
One thing I do know about first-year starters, they going to turn it over.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. Jackson Dart turned it over. My man that was before him turned it over. War number 2.
Matt
Corral. Golden. Turned it over a good bit. All of them do. Okay? So when that first year, you're going to have 11, 12 interceptions.
For sure. But again, I think that it's a really, really promising situation for him to be in.
Speaking of really promising situations, number 4, Ty Simpson. Obviously, you got Ryan Williams, the offensive line. I love the play calling situation this year for them. Getting Grubb back, getting more back to a Washington-style offense, not this quarterback design run offense that they were trying to put together last year. And I find it hard to believe that Ty Simpson is going to be a flat-out failure.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think a good passer is ever going to be a failure for Kalen DeBoer.
It's a Kalen DeBoer style quarterback in a Kalen DeBoer style offense with one of the most talented rosters in the country. Like, that's all you really need to say about it. And yes, it's an SEC schedule. It's hard. Yes, they have to go to Georgia this year. Yes, they're having to come off of high expectations and a disappointing season last year, but it's one of the more advantageous situations to be in as a quarterback.
One of the funnier things I've seen come out of Alabama during fall camp is there was this quote, I think it was from Ryan Grubb. It was either from Ryan Grubb or Kalen DeBoer, talking about how they're implementing pro concepts into the offense, and Alabama fans are just running to the hills and everything like, oh my gosh, we've got a pro style offense coming. Like, it's what you would have run last year, but your quarterback didn't allow you to. So I think it's even better that the fan base is going to be excited about what they see from him, because it'll be something totally different.
We the only, I know we do this a lot, but we had to have been the only network that covers college football like we do that we're talking about how foreign Jalen Milroe was to that guy.
Yeah.
Number 3, Gunnar Stockton, a 4th-year player.
We talked about this earlier in the week. I was like, has he really been there since
been there that long? Going into if you're a 4-year player in college football, you've been there 4.5 years, because he got there in December or January of his freshman year, early enrolled, all that good stuff. And we talked about it the other day on our local hour. Of all of these premier programs, Georgia has a rookie quarterback contract. Like, they have a really cheap quarterback, which means everybody else around him gets to they get to fill it with a lot of talent. They get to throw a lot of bodies at it, right? Georgia's deeper at wide receiver than they've ever been. They're deeper at tight end than they seem to be every year, right? Running back room got added bodies too. They were able to throw a lot more bodies at problems because he's on a cheap deal, and the situation, I'm not saying he's more talented than some of these guys on this list, but the situation around him is far more conducive to success.
I think you could also make the argument that of all the names on this list, Georgia allocated more assets to adding to this offense more than any other team did, at least this window, like this offseason. I mean, it's very apparent that Georgia was adding weapons. They added a running back. They added multiple wide receivers. I mean, they did everything they could to make sure that this was as stable of an offense that they could provide Gunnar Stockton in year 1.
By the way, spoiler alert, but all four of these guys that were ranked in the top 4, they all have top 4, top 5 rosters around them. They're all surrounded with immense talent. We're splitting hairs at this point.
That's what makes the situation so good to be in. Is like the old adage that it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You could have walked out of Janitor and they would have won X games. As non-true as that is, having a talented team around you certainly helps when you're making your first year starting.
Now, we were really splitting hairs 1 and 2 here. I put Julian Sand number 2. He's got Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. if he had Chip Kelly back, it'd be the best situation in college football. The idea that we're breaking in a new coordinator alongside ourselves. And, oh, by the way, I just got here, 12 months ago?
Right.
18 months ago? Whereas some of these guys on this list have been in the same system, being coached by the same head coach with the same offensive coordinator and the same play caller for 3 years now. So it's a little bit more, rapport with the guys around you.
And another thing, like similar to the Notre Dame situation, you're following up a national championship team with a quarterback that, again, exceeded expectations last year.
We know money says Julian Sayin should play, but Ryan Day has not come out and said that this is the guy yet.
Right.
It's still Luke Keinholz fighting for that job. Now, again, Ohio State fans, you let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong. I think Julian Sayin is going to be the guy against Texas. We're just doing a little gamesmanship here thing with Texas's defensive coordinator, trying to make sure he ain't preparing for the one guy.
Plus, I think what we learned 2 years ago from Ohio State, I know, again, like different coordinator and all of that stuff, but Kyle McCord was a quarterback, and they ran a somewhat bland offense because of it. But you had Marvin Harrison, you had great weapons around it, and they found a way to make it work. It didn't lead to a national title or anything like that, but you've learned that their weapons can overcome a lot of shortcomings at quarterback.
Would have been a playoff team in the
exactly.
For sure.
Like they met the standard in nowadays football. Number one, Arch Manning, been there 3 years, going on 3 years now. Kyle Flood been there. Sark's been there. The system is the system. Got to play in meaningful time last year. It's a very easy system, or a very easy setup right now for Arch to have success, you would imagine.
Yeah, the only thing that I think kind of is a negative for him is that the entire world has eyes on you.
Pressure.
Like the pressure of it, it's the most pressured situation for a first-year starter as well. But he's a Manning, and the world kind of wants to see him succeed. So absolutely, it's one of the more advantageous situations, the most advantageous situation.
Speaking of Arch, by the way, we got a super chub I want to talk about here in a second, but I want to transition right quick into this Arch story. Did you see that our official report on Arch Manning was officially reported today by Archie Manning? Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, how long have we been telling you that Arch is coming, like not going into this draft? I feel like
I would say basically the entire offseason.
All offseason. I think I might have even said it last fall. It's very clear. It was very obvious to me that no quarterback family that knows as much about the quarterback position like this would ever let their young man play 12 games and then go to the league. Like, it's just not. It is not historically proven, or it's not historically connected to great success. These one-year starters, even if, and I saw it proposed today, if Arch Manning wins the Heisman this year and goes Joe Burrow style, I still think he's coming back to college next year for a multitude of reasons. First and foremost, he's probably going to make north of $10 million next year as a college football player. Also, the 26 start thing is a real thing. Even Eli went all 3 years, I think, did he go 4 years of eligibility at Ole Miss? Did he play all 4 years?
I think that there was a stat that all of them used all of their eligibility.
I think they all maxed out their eligibility.
There's a suspension somewhere in there as well, though. I don't remember. I'm not even trying to do a joke here.
I do think there were multiple drinking incidents with Eli.
Yeah, there were that.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't remember if he played all 4 seasons or if it was I do think he used all of his eligibility.
Yeah. But no, I was chat's talking about Burrow. I was using Burrow, the season Burrow had, as an example. I'm saying if he had that season this year, I still am of the firm belief that he's coming back in 2026. And Archie did it today. It's a non-news story on this channel, in our opinion, because it was just football common sense. That's the way we applied it. So that's the way we've been talking to you about it. I think the more cultivating topic is actually what kind of pressure this puts on Sark. You got 2 years of Arch Manning. You got 2 years of the whole world thinking that you should go win a national title, in my opinion.
Does it put more pressure on you or less?
No, I think it puts more pressure on you to go win in the next 2 years.
The next 2 years, for sure.
You've already got pressure to go win a playoff game.
Right.
Outside of beating Arizona State. I know Texas. I'm talking about the big ones.
But
you got to go win a big football game.
Yeah, my thing is if Arch Manning, if the opposite came out and Arch was like, yeah, 2026 is our year. We are starting for 2025 and that's the NFL draft. That puts that much more pressure on Sark. So I feel like this way you're like, hey, at least we're getting an extra year because everyone expected him to go out.
Oh, yeah. You're saying it would be more pressurized if you were one and done.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah. Well, but the window is the window.
The window is the window for sure, and that's where the pressure comes in. And the pressure's there for Sark, absolutely.
I mean, we've talked about similar windows at schools like South Carolina with Lenore Sellers of you're getting 2 years of Lenore's, who everybody claims is the best quarterback that you have ever had in program history. If you don't make something happen with Lenore's and you start questioning well, is this ever going to happen? Is it ever going to work to where South Carolina is going to be a playoff team? We haven't talked about the SEC Netflix documentary, but
I watched the first 30 minutes of the first episode. If I were a South Carolina fan, I don't know if I would love the way that Shane Beamer talks about his own program. He talks about how everyone looks at us as just like lesser than, we're the bot. No one ever expects us to win. Have y'all watched it? Y'all
I haven't.
So it's a bad topic to even bring up. It's just, it's constantly I feel like he constantly demeans the place he's at sometimes. And I know it's not his intention. His intention is to say nobody else outside of Columbia believes in us. And he's going with that motto. But go with that motto. Don't slot your program as a lesser than program. It was just weird to me.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just weird to me. I know it's a side tangent.
A topic that I don't think is really getting talked about with Arch, because obviously the main thing is, yes, the 2 years of starts is an absolutely usable metric. It's probably the main reason, but also, like, if Arch Manning is playing quarterback, I don't know, 10 years ago, I don't think this happens, even with all the data. Like, the reality of it is Arch Manning is going to make what you would make on a rookie deal if you were the number 1 overall pick, outside of a signing bonus.
Well, hell, he's going to get 1/5 of the sign, or 1/3 of the signing bonus.
Yeah, like the incentive to go to the NFL is
going
that
1-1 right now. I think you signed for $36 million.
Yeah, I was looking at Caleb Williams was total value was 39, but it was a $25 million signing bonus. It's like it's about $15 million there. So
yeah.
What's the incentive for me if I'm Arch Manning to go to the NFL other than I get paid more in a signing bonus? Because I'm making relatively what I'd make, maybe even more if I just stayed here in college.
With any Jimmy, correct. With a Manning, I think 10 years ago he's still playing all the years of eligibility.
Okay,
he's a Manning. He's already worth $100 million. So
the name more is what he's keeping.
10 years ago, for sure. 10 years ago, the money that the family already has keeps him in college. It kept the first two in college, I would argue.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're prioritizing development and length at the program. And by the way, like, I know they went on to have successful NFL careers, so they probably would have been faces of the program anyways. But I don't know of two quarterbacks that are more beloved by their programs that didn't win while they were there than Peyton and Eli. They didn't win national titles at those programs.
Nope.
In fact, I'm pretty positive the year after Peyton left, Tennessee won a national title.
Yep. They did.
And he is far more beloved at that program than the quarterback who actually won the title.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, could be directly related to NFL success, but I think it also had to do with.
I think it is because like, just to be local and biased here, like, Georgia fans love Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford was a great quarterback for you, but what'd you win under Matthew Stafford? You didn't even go to an SEC championship game. Yeah, like, I don't think did you have a 11-win season in the regular season under Matthew Stafford? Like, you look like Matthew Stafford, yes, Hall of Fame career, 17 years in the NFL, and that's why, like, he's kind of been an ambassador for Georgia football. But while he was there, things weren't amazing with Georgia.
I think I've kind of learned when it comes to, like, quarterback specifically is, like, it doesn't matter to an extent, it doesn't matter what that player did at your program in college. Everybody wants that player to be a success. Every fan of that program wants that player to be a success at the collegiate level. Like, I keep seeing clips of Joe Milton throwing at Dallas Cowboys practice, and Tennessee fans are acting like that he is the greatest thing that they ever saw at that program. And I don't think that Joe Milton was very loved at Tennessee during his year because fans knew the reality of, like, dang, this guy can't hit the broadside of a barn half the time, but when he does, it's electric. Like, fans are going to gravitate towards quarterbacks, and when they have a great career, they're going to they loved him for the entirety of it.
All right, Kirby. We said we needed to move these, so give me a shot over here in 2.
In 2?
Yeah, maybe not so squeezed, like a normal 2-shot maybe, and let's see if we can get somewhere on the board where people can actually see their names here when they pay to put their name.
Okay. So,
you know what I'm saying?
Like this?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't want to get too far into our football concepts over here. I was thinking somewhere over here under my Mark Rick Football Award, something like that. This was You Try Hard, by the way. This is a Try Hard Camp Award.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with trying hard.
At one point, I was a Try Hard. Denver Myers, is that correct?
It is. Hang on, I'll go back up to it. Denver Myers, Myers.
Shout out to Denver Myers. What did he say right there, Curb? Will you read his message for us?
Love the show and the film studies. Go Dogs.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Denver.
Everybody love the film studies. I'm trying to get everybody up in here. That's what I want. I want everybody watching film studies, and then I want everybody over here. That's the whole entire goal, to get you guys over here in the live streams and in the live chats and all that good stuff. Super chubbing every chance you get. All right. let's get back to our show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I see a lot of people in here tonight, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't hit that like button. So make sure you're doing that and helping the show out as we continue our live stream. Guys, is college football lacking a premier star at the running back position? Jonathan, you were the man who put this in the show notes today, so I'll let you tell us why or why not.
Well, you and I got into a conversation this morning about discussing potential running backs that we want to take a look at, considering like here are the best guys right now that we know for a fact are great running backs. On the flip side, like guys that we're projecting to be really good, and I just got to thinking about like my mind immediately went to like who's going to be the first running back off the board after this year. Jeremiah Love is where my mind went, but like if Jeremiah Love is the best running back in college football, which I think he is, it still doesn't feel like that you have like this guy coming into a season where it's like we just know for a fact that this guy is like a college football star. Everybody knows who this guy is. Like he's without a doubt the number one guy. Like I don't know that we have that, but also like I think you go into many college football seasons not necessarily knowing who that guy is going to be. I think last season was an example of this. I don't think many people knew who Ashton Jeanty was going to last season unless you listened to this show
Or Cam Scadabo.
Scadabo. Like Cam Scadabo. Like he was another reason why I got to thinking about this. Like, so I think that you really don't truly find the answer to this until the season rolls around. Like as we sit here today, I think you have a group of really solid running backs, but I don't think you have like this main guy that everybody circles as that he is the best.
Look. Oh,
we broke the mic.
You're good. You're going to get a lot of pushback from Notre Dame fans on this segment because they're going to be like, Jeremiah Love is the best back in college football.
I said that.
And we did say that. But we're talking about superstars. And let's be honest, Jeremiah Love's career high in attempts in terms of a single game, it was 16. Okay, it's not a guy who's got a lot of workload in his career. Now, he's electric. There's no doubt about that. I have no doubt he's the best running back in college football. But the reality is there is no superstar bell cow workhorse right now on paper in college football, and that's all you're pointing to.
Yeah.
Penn State, the guys are a tandem, and I would argue it's the system. It's the system when we watch it on tape, and it's the offensive line. Penn State's offensive line is insane. I also have another theory. I honestly think that what I thought was going to be an elite running back class in the class of 2023, there's a lot of question marks, and I would say, I'm not going to say disappointment. Still too early. We got 2 years left of eligibility in most of these quick cases, but there are a lot of football players at the running back position in the class of 2023 that I thought had an opportunity to be transcendent, as did the rest of the industry. There were 10 running backs in the class of 2023, true juniors now in college football, that were ranked inside the top 100 in terms of consensus rankings. Okay, listen to some of these names, guys. CJ Baxter's been banged up. He's going to get back this year, and maybe he can split carries and get back to being himself. He looked like he was going to be it as a true freshman. There's no doubt about that. The injury bug got him. Ruben Owens has been a little bit banged up, but he's going to be a 2 this year again at A&M, right? Going into year 4, finally being the guy, unless Le'Veon Moss gets hurt. Justice Haynes, it didn't work out at Alabama. We're going to find out if it's going to work out at Michigan. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Richard Young, still at Alabama. We'll see. That was a really, really highly touted running back. Jeremiah Love's been a massive success. But again, 16 attempts is the highest we've gotten out of that. We don't have a 200-yard game out of Jeremiah Love, I don't believe. Okay, so we're talking about high-end football players. Mark Fletcher down at Miami. We're talking about a 600-yard
I think it was up 500.
Career high. Okay, so not really, and hadn't been a premier back. Going to be the number 1 back down there this year at Miami. So we'll see. Jeremiah Cobb at Auburn hasn't really panned out. It doesn't seem yet. Maybe it will this year. Dylan Edwards has transferred from Colorado to K-State. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of highly touted recruits and backs coming out of high school that really, really haven't panned out at the rate that we thought they would at this point in their career. Mm-hmm. Let me fix this microphone.
Yeah, and again, part of it is there have been some, like you said, I want to say disappointments, but guys that haven't.
Sorry. 200-yard game expectations are asinine. Guys, we're talking about superstars. That was the discussion. Does college football have a superstar at the running back position? Mm-hmm. Continue.
I agree with you that the superstar is not here right now, but like to Jay Will's point, it hasn't been. It hasn't been for the last 5 years. Like we said, last year, Cam Scadbo and Ashton Genties were unknowns by this time last year. I don't think Ollie Gordon was ever on anybody's radar before he popped off. Kenneth Walker, like guys like that have always jumped off during the season. The preseason hype hasn't been there around that. I do want to say, though, an interesting stat in his first 2 years, and this is kind of irrelevant, but to the Jeremiah Love thing, his first 2 years with USC, Reggie Bush's career high for carries in a game was 16.
Oh, yeah. Talk to me.
There we go. So
talk to me.
So is Jeremiah Love having the Reggie Bush season?
Look, I'm telling you, he is great.
Yeah.
He's a great football player. But we haven't been able to give him a massive workload without worrying about him. Like, the number one thing we talk about, he's healthy now. Mm-hmm. He's healthy. Give me a workload.
Yeah, and I think that's also part of just the modern age of offenses where it's... Did you drop the screw?
I dropped the screw.
I'm seeing I see Hunter Lacey's bringing up Jay Knott, and Jay Knott is certainly a player that we were discussing this morning. But how many of you knew that Jay Knott rushed for 490 yards last season?
Yeah, and besides,
he played in 10 games,
and wasn't an attempt problem either.
No,
they just couldn't get him loose.
And yeah, that's the other thing is that Jay Knott, maybe he is this. Maybe he goes to Oklahoma and he turns into this. It gets into this conversation again.
Into this, by the way, he had 1,300 yards 2 years ago.
Yeah, 1,400. I believe. 1,400. He had an insane stat line 2 years ago for Cal, but we
got to fix, boys.
And the other issue is to your point with Jay Knott. What has the talking point been about Oklahoma's offense all year? John Mateer. He's taking up the attention from it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing when the games start being played. That'll happen. But I agree with you that the star right now there isn't one, but someone will emerge.
Yeah, I think you could very easily find one later on this year.
We got a super chub.
Yeah, I see that from John Sanford.
I think we had a couple actually.
Been with y'all since the Baxter Street Boys used to hold it down with Brooksy was on the road. Certified ball knowers been getting created daily. Absolutely, that is the goal. Let me go put John Sanford on the board. Did I miss somebody else?
There's another one.
I don't believe they're on the board, however.
Taylor Hardy said, love the show and have been a fan for around 3 years now. Shout out JC, the cameraman.
John Sanford. I need a lefty. That's what I need.
A lefty? Like what?
So I can get behind this board.
Oh, I'm not a lefty, unfortunately.
All right. Appreciate you, John. Shout out to that. I bet there are people in the chat that are seeing those meme photos for the first time ever on this channel. They're probably like, what in the hell is that? Also, I realized I wasn't on microphone right there. That's on me. Injury concerns?
They're piling up, aren't they?
Yeah. Florida's got a bunch of banged up football players right about now, huh?
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's not necessarily... I don't think these injuries are serious. I don't think anyone on this list is going to miss extended periods of time. But like we've said, you need to practice, especially this year with the roster you have and the schedule that's going on. You need to build cohesiveness. And when you're all sitting out nursing injuries, you can't do that.
All right. We are don't overreact. Mm-hmm. That's us. We're a don't overreact team. However, I think it's, in my opinion, it is clear to me that strength and conditioning at Florida right now should at least be looked at and questioned, okay? And here's my belief behind this. And it's not only because of injuries or these ticky-tack things that keep popping up. I watched Desmond Watson for 4 years. We all did. We all watched Desmond Watson be just too big to play at the rate that he should, okay? And I personally thought that was... I'm not going to say malpractice, but the idea that they didn't look at that guy day one and say, hey, if you're over 375, you're not playing. And instead, they went the other way. They talked about that guy as a leader, as like a program, look at this guy, he does everything right. And then as soon as he gets to the NFL, guess what they tell him? Hey, no human can play this sport that large, like maybe 375, but that big, no way. And so I see the Desmond Watson thing, all right? But it's more than that. These ticky-tack, this tweaked or this shoulder or this knee or it's not major injuries. They're not having non-contact injuries, guys. It seems to me that they're having ticky-tack injuries that may or may not be created because we may or may not have enough muscle mass. Does that sound crazy?
It's not crazy. I think that there's no way to test it and prove it and all that. I mean, it's a fair speculation, and I do think what Desmond Watson showed that at least for that player in particular, Florida was not in a position or made an effort to push him physically, I don't think.
And look, they can tell me they tried all they want, and Florida fans might tell me that they tried, but no, you didn't, because he was playing. And that's it. Like, you just can't play if you're that big. By the way, there's precedence with this. Okay, there are big football players who just don't get on the field because they're too heavy.
Mm-hmm. Now, the contrarian side of this is that injuries happen to every team. Some teams go through injury bugs. We've seen it happen to Alabama. Georgia's gone through it a couple of times. This might just be something that Florida's going through, and it's no fault of the strength.
Could just be 100% bad luck.
Yeah.
However, if I were a coach in the program, I'd be raising my hand in the meeting room saying, hey, coach, are we 100% sure we're doing everything right now? Because we seem to have a bad luck thing going around. Are we 100% sure it's bad luck, or are we putting ourselves in opportunities to have bad luck happen upon us?
Always a fair question to ask.
If it's the backup tackle and a third string defensive tackle or whatever, nobody's talking about this, but the fact that Dallas Wilson is going to miss several weeks now because of an injury. DJ Lagway has a calf strain that they're kind of dealing with. Looks like he's still practicing though. And then Mizell was dealing with an injury, and then also Eugene Wilson was dealing with an injury. Now those two guys are back, but these are notable players for Florida that are dealing with injuries already. They're having to miss time, and we've talked about how DJ Lagway's had to miss time, so he hasn't really got to work with his wide receivers a whole lot in the offense in general in camp so far. Those guys missing time is super valuable right now, especially considering what your schedule is this year. You have to get these guys ready and ramped up by week 1.
Now, the silver lining of all of this is that you basically have an extra 3 weeks to get your guys healthy than the other teams.
Yeah.
You play LIU and USF, which USF could be a sneaky game, but you should be 2-0 if you walk your twos out. So there's that.
Absolutely. It's not a huge concern. If I were a fan of that football program, the Desmond Watson thing would have had me looking at the strength conditioning staff for real? That's what, and the head coach, and the DC, for real? So that would just been me. Now, I know he's a great kid. I root for him. I'm saying, but I felt like people set him up for what's going on right now. So there's that. Now, we have always talked about on this network of trying to figure out how we can gauge realistic expectations of a given fan base. Okay. Obviously, we're reaching the point now as we cross over 5.3 thousand subs, or 50.3 thousand subs, rather.
Damn, we lost a lot.
Yeah, I know. We're getting to the point now where I feel like we have a substantive span and a substantive reach. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to attempt to kind of set the expectations of a football program. And if you are a fan base listening to me today talk about your football team, I want you to politely correct me or affirm my beliefs of your football program. Okay, so that's what I want going on today, starting with the Tennessee football fan base. Okay, I believe that Tennessee football fans are probably looking at the last 9 or 10 win seasons and they're like, that's what Tennessee football is now. That's what Josh Heupel is. That's what this is going to be for us. We're a 10-win program now. That's what it is. Anything less, slightly disappointed in the performance. And I am of the belief, and I think this stage is of the belief, that if Tennessee wins 10 football games this year, I am writing in pen, permanent marker, Josh Heupel for head coach of the year. I think offensively, they just aren't going to be that. And I think they weren't going to be that with Nico, by the way. I don't think they were going to be good enough at the wide receiver position to have an explosive offense enough to be a 10 or 11 win football team. So that being said, if you go win 8 or 9 football games this year, I think that's a really, really good season. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, if you win 9 games this year, that's the implication that you lost to Georgia, Alabama, and either Oklahoma or Florida, which you don't love that. You would like to be a playoff team. You hate losing to those teams. But at the end of the day, that's not the end of the world, and that's a respectable schedule, I think. So I think that 9-3 is a fair assessment if you're a Tennessee fan.
And look, I mean, all things considered, if you went 8-4 this year, we'll say 9-3. If you go 9-3 this year with your starting quarterback leaving you in April, and you found a way to get a quarterback in that room that could win you 9 games, that you were still in a winning position, 9-3 is still a very successful season in the SEC, that you were still able to be a successful program in that season, that should be deemed a success.
Yeah. Guys, this is a football program that for 20 years prior to Heupel was a 7.5 win program.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they were.
Some dark times.
So if he takes what I believe to be his worst situation, I'm not saying it's the worst roster, because I think they have a playoff caliber defense. If you just look at their starting unit, once they get Jamal McCoy back, I don't know if there is a quote-unquote flaw in the defense from a personnel standpoint. Now, they might get some injuries or have some explosive problems or whatever. We'll find that out throughout the year. But on paper, defensively, they're playoff caliber, but they weren't going to be that offensively this year.
Yeah, here's the way you should look at it as a Tennessee fan. You are a fringe playoff, might make it, might not make it, kind of one of those toss-up teams that lost your quarterback in spring. If you go and win 9 games, that's essentially being 1 game away. Like, we had 9-win teams last year make the playoff. We had 9-win teams last year that were like, oh, they should have been a playoff team. If you can at least be at the end of the regular season and teams still saying, you know what, I wonder what Tennessee would have done in the playoff, that's a great season.
And I mean, you lost your starting running back. I think you lost 4 starting offensive linemen, and you lost 4 starting wide receivers from last year, and your starting quarterback,
and 4 starting defensive linemen.
9 wins after all of that. That's a win.
That's a big time win. Let's move on to our next fan base. Guys, Oklahoma spent money this offseason and did things roster-wise and personnel-wise and staff-wise to make you think they're ready to compete this season. However, I do believe that fan base might be smart enough to look at that schedule and go, bro, if we win 8 games, whew, hell yeah. Also, I think Oklahoma fans are also smart enough to look at John Mateer's roster photo and say, oh, he's a junior. We get 2 years of this guy, you know?
And I
think they know their window might be next year.
Yeah, and I think the amount of Oklahoma fans I've rubbed elbows with are reasonable in that, and they are saying, like, hey, the main thing that we are worried about this year is seeing an improvement from the offense.
Yes.
Let's be honest, 2024's Oklahoma's offense was not good. It was not the standard at all. You've kind of established yourself with Brent Venables as a defensive team. I almost said key, and I was like, that's not it.
Bro, I dropped Brett on a national show the other day. Like they watch our show. Like their audience gets our audience. And I went, Brett. And the guy looked at me like, what is he talking about? And I had to explain the Brett joke in the middle of a joke, an answer.
But no, I think 8-4 is great because, I mean, look at it. You have Michigan, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU. Like, there's a lot of losable games in there.
Tough.
If you can muster up 8 wins, this is the year where you kind of buy hope. If you're Oklahoma fans,
just got to get through the first part of your schedule with a bunch of wins. The last 6 are brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. If you just get through the first 6, like 4-2, you'll be all right.
If you're an undefeated team by the time you go into Red River,
happy,
you had a great season.
Because
that means you beat Oklahoma, you beat
Michigan.
You beat Michigan, you beat Auburn, and you beat the hell out of all the other teams you're supposed to beat. If Oklahoma and Texas is an undefeated matchup, that's a great season for Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
Now, you have to win some games after that, but
I think that what Oklahoma needs this season, and I'm going to draw a comparison here, but know that I'm not saying it needs to be identical to this because of how their second half of the season is structured. I don't know if it'll end up this way, but I think that Oklahoma needs to be kind of what South Carolina was last year in the sense that by the end of the season, that's all anybody wanted to talk about. Everybody wanted to talk about South Carolina in 2025, what Shane Beamer has built, all the like Lenore Sellers return, like John Mateer returning next year. That's what everybody should be talking about. They have the returning quarterback. They got a great defense. They built a good foundation there. Next year, there's a window for Oklahoma to be super competitive.
I feel like Billy and Florida fit in this competition, or this scenario as well. Like, there was no momentum around Florida.
Billy Napier was fired.
And guess what? It's not like they went 6-0 to close the season.
No.
They went competitive to close the season. That's all Oklahoma's got to do this year. Go through that gauntlet at the end. Waking up every Saturday going, hey, Oklahoma might get them today. They've been playing tough. Yeah. If they can do that, I feel like that's good. Again, Oklahoma fans, you let us know. If you're out here expecting SEC push-ins this year, then okay, we'll start to readjust our expectations for that football program. But we think it's be 8-4 this year. Next year, maybe we make you go make a playoff team. Nebraska in year 3 with Matt Rule. What should that football fan base expect? Because I personally, guys, I think that football fan base realistically should not expect, I think they should demand 9 wins in year 3 with Matt Rule. Okay, and here's why. Guys, if we're going into year 3 at Nebraska with the amount of money that they have poured into that football program and the amount of investment that he's gotten from not only the athletic department but the booster pool as well out there, guys, listen to this schedule. Tell me these 9 games aren't absolutely demandingly winnable for Nebraska this year. Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, UCLA, and Iowa. Now, the only one of those 9 football games that I might get some pushback today from Nebraska fans is Iowa, and that is your key arch rival. If we are in year 3 not demanding that we beat the rival school, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
I feel
it ain't like your rival's Ohio State, Curb.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and there needs to certainly be that year 3 jump that we're seeing from Matt Rule. 9-3 is like a fringe playoff team, though, and I don't think Nebraska is quite ready to make that jump yet. And if you just look at like where they've been statistically, they haven't won more than 6 games since 2016.
Yeah.
Like this, 9 wins would be an astronomical jump. 9 wins would be give Matt Rule a lifetime extension, and I think that's a little too much. I think if you go 7-5, 8-4, and you beat a ranked team and you're ranked consistently throughout the season, and you give teams all you want to handle, that's a great season.
7-5, a little too low. I think 8-4 should be the target.
Bro, Kirby, if they go 7-5, that means they lost to Iowa, all the games they should lose, and then one of Northwestern, Minnesota, Maryland, or Michigan State. Can't be losing those programs.
Not in year 3.
Not in year 3. All right. I got 2 more schools to talk about. LSU. I think it is realistic for LSU Tiger fans entering year 4 of Brian Kelly with the additions and the money that they spent this offseason, and not to mention all the staff additions they gave him last year and added Kyle Williams. I think it's reasonable for LSU Tigers to demand that Brian Kelly make a playoff this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you talk about how when the 12-team playoff was created, there was this safety net that was created under all these teams. The Georgias, the Ohio States, the Alabamas of the world. LSU fans, rightfully so, believe that they should be under that safety net to where even if we're having down years, 12-team playoffs should allow us to get in there. I don't think it's unfair of you to demand it of Brian Kelly, especially when people are saying you have arguably the most talented or the best quarterback in the SEC, arguably, one of your most consistent rosters to date. You made all these acquisitions for the defense and the transfer portal. So, yeah, I think 10-2 is fair.
Expectations should be out of the roof for LSU this season. It should be a playoff. It should be we somewhat expect to win a national title this year. It should be we expect to be playing in Atlanta in the first weekend of December. Like, it should be all of those things this year in Baton Rouge.
So we believe that. Curious what the LSU fans believe of that today. Last one. What about Michigan?
This one's weird.
I know. It's very weird to me as well. Because on paper, Michigan, I don't think with the amount of money that they're allowed to spend nowadays, I don't think Michigan should ever be 7-5. Not in my opinion, okay? But that being said, if they're 7-5 this year and they beat Ohio State somehow and Bryce Underwood looks anything close to competent, that fan base is on cloud 9 all over again.
Mm-hmm. It was weird because you don't often see this, and you didn't really see it with Georgia because they immediately followed it up with a national title. The attitude of kind of just content and, you know what, we're fine where we are right now, we're happy, we're playing with house money because of that 2023 national title has been very interesting to study because it did not feel a lot of urgency for Michigan last year. Mm-hmm. Last year's season was not great. You lost a lot of games. I think they were finished at 7-5. Now you close out with beating Alabama. That helps a lot, but Michigan, there does not seem to be anywhere near the sense of urgency that on the other teams that we just listed.
Does it?
No.
It doesn't feel like they're like, hey, we better win 10 games this year. Why aren't we a playoff team? It doesn't feel like they're talking like that.
But you know what, like, you hit on the money aspect of this, and there are smart businessmen who are the ones giving all this money to Michigan. I'm sure they understand, like, windows and when it's time to invest in something and when it's not time to do that. True freshman Bryce Underwood, probably not the window you want to be pouring all your money into. Year 2 or 3 of Bryce Underwood, that might be the time to be pouring all your assets into.
I at least appreciate that they spent $10 million, $12 million on a quarterback, and they fitting to go watch this dude take his lumps this year. Mm-hmm. You have to. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. If we're going to spend $12 million on you and pretty much assume that you're only going to be here for 3 years, we better get all of the bad reps out as soon as possible because we only have so much of a window to go win with you because it's really only going to be 2 years starting. So at a high level, most of the time. All right. I thought that was a good segment. Let's get on to our Big Ten predictions. Here's how we do this. We go through the conference and we talk about who are the real contenders, who are the football teams good enough to spoil a potential contender's chance at a conference title, and the absolute bottom of the barrel. Go ahead, Kurt.
I'll say let's put emphasis that when we say contenders, we mean for the conference.
For the
title.
conference,
There's
yes.
some confusion between us and saying contenders nationally and contenders for the title. Two different things.
For example, this year on paper going into the season, I think Oregon is a contender for the Big Ten championship. I don't think they're a contender for the national championship, which I think there's only about 4 or 5 teams in that. I know you're good enough to win 16 games conversation. I don't know if Oregon's in that right now going into the season. That's a good separation of actual contenders. We're talking about contenders for the conference championship. All right, here we go. Who are the real contenders in the Big Ten? I've got 4 teams,
It's a
guys.
tight 4 in my opinion.
You've got a tight 4.
It's a tight 3 with the 4th in there. Like, you know what?
Tight 3.5 with an Indiana special in number 4. Are you in a tight 3.5 kind of same situation?
Yes.
All right, here are the 4 teams. We think Ohio State perennially is a contender in this mix. Penn State in that mix this year. Oregon, based off schedule alone, and Illinois.
And they're a more talented roster.
And they're a talented roster. I would put Illinois in this mix for schedule alone. Guys, they have 2 teams on their schedule, USC and Ohio State. The rest of the schedule is very, very, very manageable for an Illinois football team who returns Luke Altmaier at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those great years if you're one of these teams like Illinois to where all the stars are perfectly aligning to when you can make a run at the playoff. You can make a run at the conference title. If you upset one of these teams, you're in a really, really good position. So I have them as one of the contenders for this year's conference title.
Yeah, I mean, the same 4 for me. Illinois is in that mix because of the schedule. That's pretty much it for me.
I mean, we're all chips in this year for Illinois.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yes.
Why is that a silent S at the end? English is so weird.
I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
Who are the spoilers in this conference? Teams that are good enough to maybe get one of those top 4 teams, maybe beat them.
I got 5.
I have 7.
I got 6.
7?
I got 6. I got Michigan, USC, Nebraska, Indiana, Washington, and Iowa's defense.
Iowa is definitely a spoiler. Iowa's been a spoiler for like 15 years.
Yeah. Iowa is we could beat you 10-6 today if you mess around and find out.
I did not have Iowa on mine. I think Iowa's just in the no-name tier.
The bottom of the barrel.
They're
not bottom of the barrel.
Just no name, don't mention.
They're just in a no-name tier.
They're a
in the
6-6 football team?
Yeah, they're just like a
here.
B-.
The amount of times I've watched Iowa take any Big Ten team into deep waters to like a 13-7 game, they're spoilers for me. I also put Wisconsin on here. I know that team has not been good. I know that Luke Fickell experience has not been there. I do feel like this team could get a couple of teams this year. And I put them
talking about pressure.
Yeah.
I know he got one of them fake extensions this last offseason, but that dude is under some heat, I would imagine, up there in Wisconsin.
Quiet pressure is what
I have them in the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, they're bottom of the barrel for me.
Dude, it's grim. I thought he made a catastrophic mistake of changing his entire football identity when he became a head coach. Changed everything he did defensively, was comfortable running a true pro style out of the pistol offense at Cincy, and started being air raid. Like out of nowhere. We're going to go win the Big Ten with air raid. And by the way, not recruit very well at wide receiver because you're not going to. You're at Wisconsin. It was weird.
My spoilers list was USC, Indiana, Michigan, Nebraska, and Minnesota.
So you got the Gophers in there.
Washington?
The Gophers are in a no-name.
No Washington for me.
Gophers are hanging out over here. I don't know what they are.
I just feel like a guy that's been around this conference for a long time, and PJ Fleck, I feel like that's a coach that and we saw it last year. It happened last year against Penn State. They almost got Penn State. I think that's just kind of the tier that they hang around in.
Yeah. Perennial spoilers.
Yeah.
All right, so I think of all the conferences that we're going to break down, I think this conference has more bottom of the barrel football teams who have absolutely not a chance in hell.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I only put 3, but you could have certainly put more.
I got half the conference. Northwestern, you got no chance.
Yep.
UCLA, you got no chance.
Yep.
Wisconsin, you got no chance. Rutgers, you got no chance. Purdue, you got no chance. Michigan State, for now, I think you got no chance. Maryland, you got no chance.
Michigan State was the one team I put an asterisk to just because they've had.
I got you on John Smith, huh?
Not even that. They've had weird seasons where they pop up. It's like, wait a minute, this team's really good. I think back to that 2021 season with Kenneth Walker where no one was very high on them coming in, and they ended up being a really, really competitive team. I don't think they competed for the Big Ten title that year, but they were a 9-win team. So that's why I'm just they're on the bottom for me, but I'm very trepidatious about keeping them there.
I only had Purdue, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. I did not put UCLA because I think that UCLA is separated by the fact that they at least have a competent quarterback. Like, there's something to believe in there. Like, they have something on that offense that could, like, on the right day, they could get things going, I think. Now, I understand that the rest of the roster probably is bottom feeder level. I get that. But I didn't put them in that tier because of the other ones. Like, I'm just like, there ain't nothing there.
I watched a quarterback last year in a very, very quarterback-friendly system at Tennessee have a relative inability to go through progressions. And I don't know what kind of offense they're going to run at UCLA this year because they have a first-time ever offensive coordinator. It's the slick-haired dude from Indiana that got Julian Lewis to take a visit up there. That's their OC now at UCLA. He's never called plays in college football. I have no idea what their offense is going to look like.
Yeah.
Their quarterback just got there in the summer. I think they're a bottom of the
They'd
barrel.
likely end up in that tier. I agree with you.
I think they got 3-9 written on them.
I agree.
Sinceri, that's his name. My man Sinceri. Got gray hair. I saw it at Carrollton. I mean, he got Pauly D hair. Y'all know that scene in Jersey Shore where he's like, I could go 200 miles an hour on a motorcycle down that interstate with no helmet and this sucker wouldn't move. That's the kind of hair this man got.
Jealous.
I'm not. It's a bad conference at the bottom, in my opinion. Most important players in the conference. Who is it?
It's 3 names for me, and they're all.
I got 4 quarterbacks.
I have 3 names, and they're all quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's a quarterback-dependent conference.
Drew Aller, Bryce Underwood, Dylan Raiola.
I put Dante Moore in that mix.
Dante Moore is also one that you could put in there. That's an interesting one because of what he can do at Oregon. But those 3, like, if Drew Aller is the best quarterback in the Big Ten, Penn State should win that conference. If Bryce Underwood is anything that he's been hyped up to be, Michigan will give a lot of teams problem. And if Dylan Raiola can take that next step for Nebraska, Nebraska will also be one of these teams that give a lot of problems and can play a lot of spoilers. So
I don't know what the next step is for Dylan. We watched it. Throw the ball a little harder.
Let me rephrase that. If the roster around Dylan Raiola can take a next step and allow him to be a better quarterback, they will become a problem for teams.
It was impressive watching that guy play real quarterback after watching some of the stuff we watched on film this spring and summer. It's like everybody just RPOing their way down the field.
Yeah.
And then you see a real NFL offense, and it's like, oh my God. These guys are playing real football. At least that's the way I feel about it sometimes. Watching some of these. Dude, I'm going to show you a possession when we do our running back study, whenever we get it filmed. I'm going to show you a possession from Penn State where they're backed up inside their own 10, and they run 3 trick plays in a row trying to get Tyler Warren the ball.
I remember this.
I don't know if Drew Aller is good. And we've seen 2 years of starting. Mm-hmm. I know he's talented. I don't know if he's good. He's not being asked to play the position. He's being asked to deliver and conference.
He's important, but I don't know if he. Yeah, I think
it's a disservice to not mention it.
It's fair. You're right. You good over there?
Hey, we're getting some frozen stuff. I think we kicked back up though.
Yeah, everything's fine over here on my end. Like, nothing's frozen on my screen. All right. So maybe a YouTube thing. Who knows?
It's tricky around here every once in a while. All right, championship matchup. Who's going to be in it? I got it Ohio State versus Oregon.
That's what I have.
Penn State versus Ohio State. I think that...
Do you think Oregon drops 2 regular season games?
Well, I think that you can lose to Penn State in the regular season. Penn State gets the nod since it's 11-1. They win the head-to-head matchup.
I say head-to-head.
So, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I think that's the avenue for it.
So you have Penn State beating Ohio State?
No. They lose to Ohio State. They beat Oregon.
Oh, okay.
And Oregon just loses to Penn State, and they have the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it weird how the Big Ten reshuffled their schedule and the SEC was like, y'all repeat it? Mm-hmm. I thought that was very weird.
It was interesting.
Because it screwed some SEC schools.
Yeah, but they were helped last year a lot by it, too.
Some. 2 of them. I felt like 2 of them were helped last year. Texas and Missouri. Everybody else had a gauntlet.
Yeah, I kind of like shaking it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just because
I like the randomness of it.
The randomness, and like you get newer opponents, you get new games to talk about. Like for some of these games in the SEC, it feels like you're just kind of rehashing out some of the same talking points that you had last year.
Yeah.
So I kind of like seeing a fresh schedule every year.
I got Penn State losing both of those games.
I got Ohio State winning the title game, but yeah. So
I got Ohio State beating Oregon and winning the Big Ten championship.
Ditto.
Penn State makes the playoffs at 10-2, though.
Yeah. I think if Penn State doesn't make the playoff, you need to seriously have conversations about James Franklin. And I don't do that a lot. Like 9-3 is very good. We've talked about it all the time, but this is the year where you, at the very minimum, have to make the playoff.
Have to. All right. That is our national hour. We got a whole nother hour coming up right now on the other side of the break.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Why are you blurry?
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into the Film Guide Network for another loaded hour here on the network. We finna talk that dog. We got a great one for you. We got presser notes from yesterday. Got both of the coordinators. Got the special teams coordinator.
All three
got
coordinators.
T-Rob. Got that boy Todd Hartley out there at press conference bringing the juice. We're going to bring you the notes from those press conferences today. 5-star LaDamian Guyton committed to Texas Tech today. I've got some intel on that for you guys tonight. Maybe crush hopes or maybe provide hope. I don't know. We're going to figure it out when we get there. We're also going to set the props tonight. I'm excited about this one because for you gamblers out there, we're going to try to basically set our market, right? What we think these players are going to do. And that'll ultimately figure out whether or not you can find some value when these lines ultimately come out in Vegas. So that'll be fun. We got an interesting recruiting story to talk about tonight as well. And we have some nostalgic tape. But I'm going to let you boys hem and haw around a little bit because I've got to use the bathroom.
Yeah, do you want to start with the pressers, Jay, or do you want to wait for Brooks so you can hit those?
No, we can go ahead and start with the pressers. We can go ahead and start with that. Let me go ahead and put this timestamp in. So what was your first takeaway, biggest takeaway from Schumann, what he talked about yesterday? I thought there's some really good talking points from him.
Schumann, as always, is a very analytical guy. Always talks about it. It's not necessarily one where you're talking, you feel his energy, but if you listen to what he says, you go, man, this guy knows the sport very, very well. I think that the biggest takeaway that I took from him was that, everyone talks about how Georgia's defense has been on the decline the last few seasons and how it might be a personnel issue and you would expect a decline after you lose X number of first round picks. And that question was kind of thrown his way of, do you think the decline has been of particularly players in the defensive line position being absent now? And his answer was essentially the most important thing that we have not done to the Georgia standard is tackling. So tackling, missed tackles, and it got me thinking, like, there has been a lot of missed tackles last year, and you can just look back in certain games that Georgia lost as to, oh my goodness, yes, he's absolutely right on that.
So I want to, before you get going, I want to start. I should have started this segment. I was in the bathroom. That's on me. I think there are two ways college football coaches should approach press conferences. Okay. And the rare third that does both. Either one, you come to the microphone with extremely thoughtful responses, okay, which is what I think Schumann does at an elite level. If you listen to Schumann answer questions at a press conference, it is very clear that he is very extremely thoughtful and brings a lot of information and answers the question in full thought, okay? Or do what Todd Hartley does. Todd Hartley comes to that microphone with more juice than I bring to this one, okay? And I try my best to make sure I'm about to OD on caffeine before I come out here because I want to make sure I'm bringing juice and passion and energy to what I got coming on here on this network. So I think the difference is what Kirby does is very unique. I think Kirby does all or both of them. I think he sometimes comes to the microphone with a thought or a purpose, and sometimes he comes out there with raw juice and energy. And it's a rare combination of both. What you can't do is just show up like you don't want to be there, because eventually the media is going to have disdain for you. All right, they are. I think there's a very famous example of this down there in Gainesville. I think Billy, to his own fault, is too much of a football coach and doesn't turn it on when he goes to the microphone, and he's monotonous, he's very monotone, and acts like he don't want to be there. Guess who does not like their football coach? the local media down there in Florida. You can see it by the way they write about the football team. Sorry.
The only thing I wanted to add before we start getting into our main talking points from Schumann is that kind of what you're getting at is every time I listen to Schumann in front of a microphone, I feel like I am gaining knowledge. You know, people talk about him as a teacher, someone that understands the game really well, but can also translate it to other people. And even talks about like you have to understand how to teach it to different styles. Like sometimes you got to slow things down. Sometimes you can speed things up. He knows how to do that even in front of a microphone, of talk football to people, make sure they understand, and you learn new things listening to him.
So those were basically my two questions yesterday. I asked him the first and the last. The first question I asked him was like, hey, I was watching a clinic the other day, and you had this really elongated football like play call, defensive play call, and you had morphed it down into one word. And you're almost playing like flashcards with your defense. If we say this, everybody has to envision what it looks like, right? And I figured when you're out recruiting, buddy, you better be checking to make sure guys got recall. Like you better be recruiting really smart football players and making sure that they have the ability to do this, because when they get there, if they don't, then you're in trouble. And I thought he was going to have some answer like, yeah, we make sure so like we're recruiting football guys. His answer was what you're talking about. His baseline requirement to play for Glenn Schumann, you got to love ball. You got to love it. Like really love this, because no matter what your teaching style is, however you absorb information, however I have to meet you as a teacher, that's my job. Your job is to not come in here and be super smart or super analytical or know everything that I got to teach you. But you better care enough to activate it and go after it. And that's all that he cares about, because I'm going to get you where you need to go. That's my job, to reach you, meet you at your ground.
Yeah, I think the phrase that he used was, if they love it enough, they'll figure out a way to learn it.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love the comparison of the wedding night. Basically saying like the first week of camp is like the first night of marriage. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited to be there. Everybody's got fire, passion, and energy. Talk to me week 2. Talk to me 6 weeks into the season. Are you still alive? Do you still have that passion later on in the year? I thought it was funny that he keeps calling CJ Allen and Raylan Wilson the old heads. So I really hammer that home, guys. Like, hey, we're on the back end of this hill now. We spent 2 years climbing up. Like, we're on the back side. Time's getting short now for you guys. That's scary, too, isn't it?
It makes me feel old, dude.
Happens really, really quickly around here. I thought that was really important. Also, talked about anticipating, not reacting, right? As a linebacker, it's important to be able to anticipate what the offense is about to do, not reacting to what's actually happening in front of us, right? Getting those two older linebackers to play with anticipation, not reaction. Was asked, or talked about his camp ideology and his camp strategy for to an extent, right? Was asked about Jalen Walker last year and replacing Jalen Walker, right? How are you going to do that? And he mentioned fall camp is about establishing who are our best players, right? Like, obviously, we're installing the system, right? What we run, Georgia defense, we're installing it, right? But really what we're doing in the first 10 practices is figuring out, hey, who are our best players? What style of defense do we need to install to accentuate those football players? So last offseason, it became pretty apparent to them that Jalen Walker was going to be one of their not only best players, but most versatile players, right? So they had to implement systems and styles of defenses to highlight that football player. Fall camp's all about that right now for these guys. I would imagine, based off what I've been hearing, they're probably trying to figure out ways to highlight Christian Miller. They're probably trying to figure out ways to highlight CJ Allen in the linebacking core and Chris Cole, right? They're trying to figure out ways to highlight KJ Bolden, right? So those are the types of things that they're figuring out right now in fall camp.
I was going to say, I also do think that what he said was somewhat of a testament to what Jalen Walker did for your defense last year, because of talking about how we're not going to replace it with one person. It might take a handful. It might take a different approach to things. Like, it really accentuates just how special he was as a talent for them last season.
Absolutely. Talked about Christian Miller in depth. He said they know he's great in the run game, right? Playing what he calls base technique. Knows he's great at that. We got to find ways to be more disruptive this year as a defensive lineman. But I thought the most poignant thing, and I clipped it for you guys tonight, was actually his comments about the improvements needed and required in the run game. Now, you're going to hear him label 3 different important things. Number 1, you got to tackle better. Number 2, you got to leverage the ball better. And number 3, you got to balance the math. And the balance the math stuff, so we're going to talk to you about a little bit here in a second, but I loved this answer from Glenn Schumann, and I'm going to play it for you today.
Jalen Carter, Devontae Wyatt, and the last 2 years not being at that level, not having them, or is there other things that have been a factor, and do you think that maybe that stat could lie in some ways?
No, I mean, stats always tell you something. I mean, the stats are what they are. Like, I mean, you start rationalizing stats, then you're just making excuses for a performance that wasn't up to our standard. Number one thing we need to do better in run defense, okay, is tackle better. Like we did not tackle to our standard last year. If you tackle better, you eliminate yards after contact, okay, and then we need to leverage the football better, okay, specifically on the perimeter where the ball bounced out too much. And so, that goes back to trust and playing together as a unit. So one of the we've just been really harping on, the right way to tackle, which we always do. That's not like this is some unique thing, but our guys are very aware of where we need to improve. They know to play Georgia football on both sides of the ball, we need to run the ball and stop the run. And they've taken great pride in trying to improve in those areas. But we need to tackle better, leverage the football better. And then ultimately, guys, we talk about changing the math. Like on an offensive playbook page, everybody's blocked except for the middle field safety. Let's not act like there's unblocked guys. No matter what you do on defense, every once in a while you might trick them. The way to change the math is to either take 2 blockers or beat your blocker. Okay, so that goes back to striking blockers, getting off block, technique and fundamentals. And the more guys we have that don't trade, we call it trading 1 for 1. Like, if you block me and I stay in my gap, but I don't do anything else to affect the play, I traded 1 for 1. The offense won on that play. So, tackling, leverage of the football, okay, and then we have got to do a great job of not going 1 for 1 in terms of dealing with blockers. And that's what it is. And when you don't do that well, it leads to the results we saw. And so, we're not worried about that. We're just worried about the future, and guys are taking pride in doing those things every day.
All right, so I love that last part about the taking care of the math, right? Balancing the math. I loved how he looked at everybody. He's like, hey, let's make no bones about it. On every single play, everybody on the defense is accounted for by the offensive scheme except for the free safety, right? On this network, we have been adamant about the running back's job. What is the running back's job, Jonathan?
To take care of +1.
The running back's job is to take care of +1. It's on the board right there. Take care of +1. That is the running back's job. And I love listening to him talk about that. It's like, hey, how do we balance the math? If we go 1 for 1 defensively, we have lost. If we do not defy blocks, if we do not do stuff on the defensive line, making the offensive line take 2 of their guys to block us and consuming them until the end of the play is done so our linebacker can run free. If we don't do enough stuff to balance the math, we're going to get beat. I loved that. I loved hearing that because I've never heard it talked about that way. I've always offensively known, like, hey, there's going to be a free defender, right? We have a quarterback that's not running the ball. There's going to be a free defender somewhere, or even if the running back is carrying the ball, there's a ball carrier with the ball, right? We got 10 guys blocking and 1 guy running. You got 11 guys trying to tackle me. You're always going to have the numbers advantage. All right. How do we get the numbers advantage even higher? I loved hearing that.
And again, this goes into Schumann being in front of a microphone and teaching people football, because this is a question about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter no longer being on the roster. How are you going to be successful stopping the run without those guys, whatever? And I easily could have turned into an answer of like, well, we don't compare guys, blah, blah, blah. Like, we got to be great. Instead, he talks about math and how you can change the math defensively. And like, because Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis obviously take up 2 blocks, so you're going to win the math equation in that scenario. But still, it turns it into a lesson.
Also, great question by Seth Emerson of The Athletic, but also love the initial answer of we don't excuse away stats around here. If you start rationalizing stats, you're making excuses for not meeting the standard. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. I loved hearing that. We talk about trading 1 for 1. We talk about take the +1 all the time. Was asked about Elo Mendoza. By the way, it is Elo.
It's Elo.
It's Elo. Okay, he
was quick to correct.
He was quick. I mean, it's important.
I mean, he grabbed the mic. He said, it's Elo.
I know it's ironic coming from me saying the pronunciation of names is important, but it's important. Okay, so
you were hitting some Elos for a while.
I know, but now I got the umbrella L-O-L-O-A up in my head, and we're good. It's L-O-L-O-L-O-A the rest of the time. See, chat's already on. Chat's on game. Former wide receiver in high school. It's a good athlete.
Yeah, that's kind of scary to think about.
I loved hearing this. He said, if you would observe us, not at practice, but if you just observe us around the building, you would think this guy's been here the whole entire time. Except from a cultural fit standpoint, this guy gets it. This guy, I mean, obviously, right?
Oh, you're surprised the guy that was at West Point, the Army Military Academy, is fitting right in with Georgia football? I would have never guessed that.
But he also mentioned like meshing with the guys, being with his teammates as well.
just broing down out there in the edge room. Was asked about Joseph Jonye. Says he's a great athlete. He's got that length inside, or the length to play both inside and outside the tackle is what's required, right? You got to be able to play 4-eye on early downs, and if we're going to leave you on the field, you got to be able to, get out on the edge of those tackles and create pass disruption as well. I'm bullish on JJA. I thought everyone was last year watching him play as a true freshman, and then he obviously had the lower body injury and had to go have surgery, and missed this spring. So we're most of the time you think we're like stunting growth, but you saw the photos. That dude's huge.
Shu said something that kind of perked my ears when I was listening. He talked about they need JJA to be able to play both inside and outside, and he went on to say like the Michael Williams role, kind of what he did defensively. Not saying that is what Schumann is saying the expectation for him is to be, but just knowing like they're wanting him to be a versatile player for them.
I mean, historically, that defensive end on third down, if he's not coming off the field, he has to kick out.
Yeah.
On first and second down rundowns, they're playing 4-eye inside of that tackle, right? Holding down double teams. You got to be big enough to hold guards and tackles at the line of scrimmage and play those double teams. And on third down, if you're going to stay on the field, we got to play outside the tackle and get some rush on. It's excited to see what JJA does this year in year 2. Was asked about Q Johnson and mentioned his athletic background as well. Says he's a really bright football player. I feel like we pointed that out in film as well. Or when we watch those young kids play, we say, hey, 33 is clearly playing football. He's not thinking football. And we kind of showed you that difference between 99, JJA, right? Playing last year, early football, I think it was Tennessee Tech. We watched it. And Q's just playing fast. He's playing physical. He's turning and spilling. He's not stopping. He's not looking. You see JJA over there, and you could see the wheels kind of turning in his head. Q, obviously a very instinctual, smart football player, and Shu alluded to that. Was asked about Chris Jones switching over to outside linebacker exclusively. Obviously pointed to the selflessness of it, but noted that this is a frame that could really add on weight. So they did it. They said, all right, let's go do it. Let's go put on the weight and make you a stand-up rusher.
And I think, too, what I thought was interesting that I noted about Chris Jones was obviously the weight thing, but also that saying how last year we were teaching him how to play inside linebacker, where to fill, what you have to do. And then you had started over in spring, like, all right, now we're going to put you at outside linebacker. And again, going into that selflessness, of course. But was something that I believe he said he played both in high school, I believe is what he said.
I think it also just shows the faith that staff has in him as an athlete, because there's not a lot of players where it's like, okay, we've taught you this for a handful of seasons. Now it's time to completely tear that down to the stud. You're playing a new position.
6'3", 230 pounds out of high school, ran 4.52. So pretty athletically gifted. Dead bodies. You're
just gonna.
Where am I supposed to put it, Kirby?
You could throw.
I got a spitter.
You don't have a trash can near your desk? Or?
Yeah, there's one down here.
That's where you're supposed to. That's
where
the answer.
I just put it.
That's the answer.
That's where I just put it.
It's where
Dad.
you're supposed to put it.
Leave me alone.
Not crumb it up on your desk.
Leave me alone.
Like it's salt.
Was asked about Elijah Griffin. He's got a nickname, EG. They call him EG.
We could do better.
You think so?
Come on, guys. We could do better.
The initials is so plain.
It flows. EG flows.
I guess.
But he did an expert job at ducking that one.
Yeah.
Don't want to put a lot of
still got to grow.
Fresh, but still got to grow. We like what we've seen, though. Mm-hmm. We need him to be an impact. We like what we've seen. I asked him about becoming a better teacher, and I asked him this because I feel like what I do in front of that board is I attempt to teach. Okay, I'm obviously trying to entertain, but I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to educate football every time I'm up on that board. So how do I become a better teacher, right? If I'm ever going to become a coach, how do I become a better teacher? And his answer was what you talked about earlier, what you alluded to earlier, Jonathan. Being able to teach to everyone in the room, right? Get through to all levels of football knowledge. Part of teaching is interacting as well, right? Asking questions, getting your constituents, getting your people in the audience engaged in the lesson or whatever it is that you're trying to teach, right? Asking questions and being involved. He actually made a joke, said, I want to be Charlie Brown up here. Like, I don't want to be that. I want to be somebody that is engaging the audience as often as he possibly can.
Is that the first pop culture reference from a Georgia football coach ever?
Well, someone tried with Kirby, and he acted like he didn't know they existed. When
he tried to act like he didn't know who Miley Cyrus was.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean...
He did give a shout out to Eric Church, though.
Yeah. Wrecking Ball.
Mm-hmm. I know Eric Church's Wrecking Ball.
Shout out to the Chief, man. Shout out to the Chief.
Coach knows ball.
Coach does know ball. Any other thoughts on Schumann's presser before we get to Bobo's?
No, I think one of the things that you get about Schumann is that there's not a ton to take away, and it's done intentionally.
Yeah.
So, lot to learn, but not to be like, oh, this is what we learned about the team per se. It's more what we learned about the sport.
All right, on to the offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo. Had to ask him. Y'all think I'm his biggest defender, so I asked him his toughest question. Coach, y'all look like poop to start football games last year. What happened? What was going on? Like, what was going on? He pointed to something that we pointed to all year last year. Execution, man. Like, y'all did not get off the good starts. I think to start the year, the first game I watched where I'm like, good Lord, what is going on to start this football game execution-wise was Kentucky. It's the third game of the year. Y'all are on the road. Y'all look like poop. Urisek's out here blowing assignments. We got right tackles blowing assignments. We got wide receivers blowing assignments, not running to the proper depth on third down. Just all kinds of bad moments of execution. Saw it over and over and over and over again throughout the year. But he also noted, like, I was relatively conservative to start football games too. Mm-hmm. We also played a lot of great football teams. Yep. I mean, that was noted. Played a lot of great defenses last year as well. But I think the comment that most people grabbed onto was a very simple football statement, which is, hey, when you start the football game, you start backed up in your own end. They kick it to us. We get it at the 20. Best case, 25. Okay? We're in our own end. Sometimes a good possession is flipping field position to start the football game. What you cannot do, and what they failed to do multiple times last year, and you can point to it and say that's bad, you can't go 3 and out to start football games. That's a bad way to start.
No.
You're giving the other team the ball at the 40, basically.
Not only that, you can't go multiple drives without getting any form of points.
Yep.
And I'm all for it. I completely agree that flipping the field is just an effective way to handle a team and beat an opponent. But if you're just constantly flipping the field and there's no points coming out of it, and you've played 30 minutes of football and all you have is 3 points or 6 points or 10 points, that's where you have a problem.
I mean, statistically, I could be wrong. I didn't feel like they were an inefficient red zone football team last year, though. I thought their one lone problem offensively was the first half points totals.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they had a problem punching it in the box last year. I could be wrong. Jonathan's looking it up right now.
I was going to say, I don't remember them being super great on touchdown ratio. I think they had a high percentage, but
90% of red zone trips resulted in a score that ranked 22nd in the country.
So they're slightly, they're above average.
Do they have touchdown rankings on that?
Touchdown percentage. Give me 1 minute.
We have like theme music for when Jay was researching.
Yeah, when Jay was researching.
They ranked 28th in the country. 70% of trips ended in a touchdown.
Okay, so not horrible.
Yeah, top 30.
Above average.
You got to be top 15, though. That's what we want. Slight improvements.
The thing about the quote, though, with I think when he's talking about flipping the field position is like a fast start, is I think like people already have in their mind that they think that Bobo doesn't know football. So when he says things like that, they think he's saying like, "Oh, we don't need to score points. We just need to make sure that the other team doesn't have good field position." Like any coordinator would obviously like to start a football game with 3 straight touchdowns or 3 straight scores or whatever it is. But he's saying like, sometimes that's not a bad result. That doesn't mean that you failed on that drive.
Not a failure of a drive. Ooh, you are rubbing your head. We about to get a rant.
No, man. It's like, I'm reading a comment right now from Rocco. 3rd and 9 screen call. I know of one for a fact we watched the other day on this network.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 3rd and 9, screen pass, gets called against Tennessee. It is wide ass open. They're running split safety defense. It's right down the middle of the field. Dominic Lovett's about to bang his head on the damn goalpost. You can see it clear as day. There's not a Tennessee defender in the damn screen. There's 6 offensive blockers running out to block nobody. And guess what happens? Oh, crap. We're punting the ball because we can't catch a 10-yard throw. I'm all for it. Except for, had the ball just been caught, first down. Again, y'all do that. It's all results based. Because I know of one of the biggest touchdowns in your national championship run is Ladd McConkey catching the same exact screen pass and taking it 37 yards for a touchdown against Alabama. Results. That's all you care about. And the day you get the results that you want, you'll be happy. But until then, fire everybody. They suck.
I knew that was coming, dude. I knew when he looked over his screen, started rubbing his head. I was like, he's about to cook.
Well, it's just...
You're right, though. I mean,
100% right. And the comment of, like, throwing to someone with brick for hands, like, buddy, nobody could catch the ball last year. Like, you had so many limited options. There's only so much you could do. That, of all things, though, you literally only had to catch the ball. That's all you had to do. It was the simplest thing you could ask anybody to do.
Was asked, where are we at? I was asked about whether or not the offensive line has a chip on their shoulder. He said they better. Offensive line better have a chip on their shoulder. It's what they are. But talked about, hey, you got to be a better unit up front. Also talked about connectivity. Got to be more L1 in the offensive line room as a whole. Talked about how he thought Gunner prepared like a pro last year, and it wasn't just words, it showed up, right? You don't go in against Texas and play even as well as he did. I know he had a bad interception, but you don't play as well as he did if you don't.
Not even he prepared like a pro. He prepared like he was the starter. That was the takeaway I had from Bobo.
Yeah.
He literally went out there, he said he went out every practice and treated it like he was the starting quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs, so that when the time came was, hey, you are now the starting quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs, he was ready.
Absolutely. Talked about his identity. He was asked about what he wants the offensive identity to be. Any guesses?
Running the football.
Run the football. It's one thing I noticed yesterday, and let's talk to all these coaches, and just through a week of practice, they're doing things new at Georgia, right? The blue helmet thing, the fire, passion, energy thing. We're not talking about, composure cards. We're not talking about that. We're talking about fire, passion, and energy. We're talking about lighting it up. We're talking about playing with an edge. We're not talking about, compose yourself. This is a different message for the first time in a long time for me.
Yeah, and I think that's what all best coaches have to do. And we talked about this before. You can't keep relying on the things that worked 3 and 4 and 5 years ago now. Like, you have to switch it up. Kirby Smart obviously knows that, and that's why they're going with a different approach here. So credit to them.
And it's not like, and you notice it from both sides. Like when Schumann talks and Bobo talks, like you can draw comparisons and similarities between one another, because a big talking point for Schumann was stopping the run. We got to be better at stopping the run. And then Bobo gets in front of the mic, is like, we got to be better at running the football. Something that we have talked about throughout the offseason about how that's something that they're really emphasizing this offseason. But it feels like there's just so much cohesiveness in what everybody says, like between the players, like what you hear out of camp. Like there's a lot of like positive signs, I should say.
We asked Kirby about like what does running efficiently look like, and he mentioned the 5 yards per carry. That's like a lofty goal, but he also mentioned like, hey, just average third down distance. We talked about this. It was like 3rd and 9 constantly last year. I feel like they were in 3rd and long the entire season.
Yeah.
And you're not going to convert as many of those as you think you're going to. 3rd and long is a death trap for the offense.
Since we talked about quick starts with Mike Bobo, there's a pretty good Super Chub question on here.
If you could guarantee 2 first downs on every first drive of each game, but no points, would you take it? Probably not.
I would say no,
because you're automatically limiting yourself.
Yeah.
Well, not just that. Like you can get 2 first downs and the ball only moved to the 45.
Yeah.
And you're not really flipping the field at that point.
No, we got to be. I think, get the ball into plus territory. If you did that every first possession, I'd take that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where the question is going. So I get it and I respect it, but I think that the better alternative to this would be getting plus territory, to where if you don't get points, to which this hypothetical is you're not, you can at least pin the opposition.
Every time I go on one of those rants, the immediate rebuttal from that person I just went after is always, well, whose job is it to catch the football? You know?
I don't know if they sound like that.
Well, in my head, that I'm always going to move the bar until my point is made that I don't like this guy. That guy sounds like that to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is with not just the Mike Bobo situation in life.
No, it's everything.
Like, I'm going to keep doubling down until I'm right. We saw this with Stetson Bennett. This happened with Stetson Bennett until it was literally you had nothing to say about him that wasn't good, except he was rude to us at the parade. That's why I don't like people will move the goalposts until they have a vindictive. Their opinion is vindicated.
You know what he reminded me of yesterday when he was talking? That Nate Frazier got ready to start SEC football and be a meaningful player in 2 months.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he was a summer edition.
I forgot about that.
Right? That dude got to campus in June, and by August 31st, September 1st, he was like, I'll go for 75 yards against this Clemson defense. Who cares?
And I will say, he said something about it that was like an aha moment to me that I'd never really thought of before. He mentioned get the dirty yards. I
love that term.
Get the dirty yards. And also, he said, Nate Frazier last year, and a lot of these guys were the best player in their state rotate on their team. Nate Frazier went from, in a span of 2 months, being able to bounce anything to the outside, make any cut he want, and not get tackled for it, to playing real SEC football where that can't happen. And I think...
I'm just going to let you know, you're going to hear dirty yards brought up on this network coming up on the running back study. I love that term.
It's a great term.
Sometimes we have to.
Don't got to hit a home run every time.
No.
You know who I've studied today, and I'm like, I didn't know he had this in his game, is Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love finds dirty yards. I thought he was only an explosive home run hitter. No, we're going to show you some different stuff on that one. Was asked about keeping Gunner hit and said they're really actively talking to him about this on tape. Said they're going to let him compete on third down and going to have a, quote, going to have to live through that. Going to have to live through him taking hits. Going to have to live through him not necessarily knowing when to get down or when to compete. He's going to have to learn through those things. Yep, go ahead.
I don't love that.
Ryan Puglisi better be ready.
I was going to say,
Ryan Puglisi better be ready to play football.
We've seen Gunnar Stockton has played 6 quarters as Georgia's starter. And that's not a long time. He's already been knocked out once. That's all I'm going to say. Ryan Puglisi will take snaps with the one.
He took a couple shots against Notre Dame too.
Yeah. So and look, I've kind of been the guy on the show to put the bad juju out there. It only takes one hit. That's all I'm going to say.
Was asked or mentioned that the transfers and the freshmen on this offense have provided what he called elite competition. It's very clear to me, listening to all those coaches talk yesterday, listen to Kirby talk, I think you guys would affirm this as well. This coaching staff is really excited to be able to coach this football team.
That's what I said about Kirby.
We didn't even have to make it about the quarterback last year. Let's make it about the roster. Rosters in college football got very, very old over the last several years. Okay, so we got guys that have been here 4 or 5 years listening to the same message, getting yelled at the same way, going through the same, things every day. And as a human, okay, certain things we're not going to gravitate to or be as receptive to 5 years into the system as we might be year 1 or year 2. And it's very clear to me when I hear these guys talk, they feel like they can get after it again. They feel like they can coach these dudes hard.
Well, Kirby said that yesterday. That was one of the advantages of having a young team is I get to coach these guys, and we get to bring all of that energy to practice because they are new to the roster. They haven't been here. He's like, that's one of the biggest advantages of having a young roster is like we are all coaching again.
Yeah.
Like I love Tate Ratledge. I love Jared Wilson. I love Xavier Truss. I love Dylan Fairchild. All that being said, how many times do you think they could really get into their ass last year?
Probably a lot.
You think a lot?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's probably like, hey, he's year 5 here. He probably knows the deal.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, there's an opportunity for that to be available.
Well, the difference is probably
again, we don't even have to talk about the quarterback. Everybody knows the deal there. Everyone knows they felt like they couldn't get after that guy.
Well, the difference is probably if Tate screwed up last year, it was probably dadgummit Tate. What your job is. You know
better than that.
You know what you're supposed to do. Whereas if it's not to pick on it, like Daniel Calhoun this year, it's like, dude, this is what we got to be doing. Getting into the details of it again.
A resetting of expectations.
Correct.
And I feel like that's what's going to be that's kind of what has reinvigorated this coaching staff is that, not everyone on the roster knows what's expected of you. You have to kind of instill that in them.
Speaking of what is expected, he mentioned Colby Young being the standard setter in the wide receiver room. He said he represents the G really, really well out there at practice, shows those young guys how to go about their business. Also mentioned that, hey, we brought Noah Thomas in this offseason. That's competition for Colby. Now, when I heard that, my ears perked up because you guys been hearing me talk about this 2X system, think you should run it, think you should be thinking about packages where we're out here running what I'm calling sticks, all right, which is 11 personnel with 2 X's out there on the field, all right? I think your best unit at times this year is going to be Colby Young, Noah Thomas, Zachariah Branch, and Oscar Delp. I think there's an opportunity where that package is on the field, and I've been talking about it. So I reached out to some sources yesterday because he said Noah Thomas was brought in and is competition for Noah or Colby, which would make me assume that, y'all might be only playing one true X, right? Those two are competing for playing time. I texted somebody in the building yesterday and was like, hey, am I crazy? Because I think this could be a thing. I think y'all could play both these guys at the same time. The immediate response I got back was, the best 11 will play. So that makes me happy. No comments there?
Well, I was
Nothing?
drinking. I was taking a sip of water. But
Chat going crazy?
I think it also is a good catalyst for not only that the best 11 will play, but even if Noah Thomas was brought in to be a competitive piece and to kind of push Colby Young further, that might be just exactly what you need, and that might be just something that lights the fire under there. So I don't necessarily think that it was necessarily the implication that we're only going to have 1 or 2 X's out there. I think it was more that we have, a very competitive room this year. What we got going on here?
An unexpected trip to the board.
I don't even know what this is for.
Well, I want to talk about my terminology for my personnel package. I think I invented a personnel package. I think this is cool. I think this is football. Okay, by the way, this is how football language has all been invented. It's all been morphed together. I'm talking about running 11 personnel with 2 X's, right? What is a short name for 11? People call it sticks, right? Mm-hmm. People call it sticks. This would be our personnel package. We call sticks. We would know we're in 11 personnel with 2 X's on the field. How about that?
Wow.
Right?
Oh.
I love that. So when y'all see it this year, be like, that's sticks. My boy Brooksy taught me that one. Yeah, so there we go. I'd be installing sticks if I had any type of 2 big-bodied wide receivers. By the way, Texas A&M basically ran sticks all year last year. They had 3 6'5" guys on the field at all times. They were in 12 personnel with Noah Thomas on the field. Mm-hmm. They had nothing but big bodies everywhere. Helped out for that RPO system for them. Just an idea. Talked about creating competition between 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. Basically pitting the tight ends and the wide receivers against one another, saying, hey, we got to figure out this fall camp, what offense are we going to be? Are we going to be more efficient and more explosive and a better offense in 12 personnel? Or are we going to be a more explosive, more efficient offense in 11 personnel? Me personally, I think you ought to be living in 11 personnel this year, but that's me. I think next year moving forward, start camping your butt in 12. But I think this year, with the money and the weaponry that you have at wide receiver, you ought to be playing them guys.
Well, I think it's what's going to set you up to run the ball most efficiently.
In 12.
Because we talk about it all the time. Like the identity that Mike Bobo wants to have, the thing that we all have kind of said that Georgia needs to get back to more than anything, is being able to run the ball efficiently. So as much as 11 personnel sounds great, having 2 tight ends on the field really helps you in that run game. So it'll be interesting to watch. And you can still run 12 personnel with sticks. You can still do that. It just means that your slot's coming off the field. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize this. And they might have multiple packages for this that creates a more advantageous position.
Trying to think of a new name for our sticks package out of 12. Twix. What do you got for me?
Wow.
Right? Tight end with 2 X's, Twix. Mm-hmm. I'm a machine. What do you got for me? I don't know why I'm looking at you like you got something.
I don't know either.
What comment do you think is going to get misinterpreted the most out of this press conference?
Oh, we all know that's the
gunslinger comment, right?
I was going to say the starting fast is getting...
No. It's the gunslinger comment about Gunner at the end of this. All right, now he preludes this with a whole bunch of we're fixing mechanical things, right? We worked all offseason about our fundamentals, okay? And he starts talking about how he's been telling Gunner, like, hey, we got to start layering the football. Okay, we got to be able to start playing with some touch. I don't know, stuff we've been talking about on this network since we've been studying him. This guy is a one ball thrower. He likes to gun it. Okay, so he said it's his name, Gunner, and ironically enough, he's a gunslinger. Now, when people hear the term gunslinger, they immediately think Brett Favre. They immediately think, oh my God, this guy's going to be putting the ball at risk left and right. Oh my God, this guy's going to be aggressive. Oh, I like gunslingers, or I don't like gunslingers. That scares me one way or the other. That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about the idea that Gunner needs to continue to progress in terms of layering the football. And I already know for a fact, I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it all over all the aggregate pages. It's like, oh, Gunner Stockton, a gunslinger. No, he's a firm ball thrower. That's what he is.
A firm ball thrower.
Firm ball thrower. He's a one ball thrower. He's a closer. He's Craig Kimbrell. That's what he is.
With firm balls.
You just...
Well, you can do it and I can't?
Fair. Fair. What were your thoughts on Bobo's press conference as a whole, guys?
I mean, like I said, I thought that he addressed things up front and certainly said some things that I think got misinterpreted. And I think that's why there's value in listening to an entire press conference.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're like when you read a quote on Twitter, because like only chunks of it sometimes get misplaced and like some of the context is removed. I think it's important to like listen to it in its totality. So I think that when you do that, I think all of Bobo's thoughts are pretty cut and dry in regards to like what they want to do this year, what they think of Gunner, all that good stuff.
He said there's value in listening to it. I think there's value in watching it. And I'm not a body language expert or anything like that. This is the most comfortable I've seen Mike Bobo as the team's OC. This is the most, like you said, he seems excited to be coaching this team. He seems eager to do this. He seems, like he is enjoying his job. So that was very interesting to read.
B. Schaefer, I know you're just trying to get under my skin right now. I see that comment. I'm not even going to pay it no mind. That's a listener who knows where I am vulnerable. That's what that is.
Dude,
that is a listener who has been listening for a long time who knows how to get under my skin.
Dude,
it's not to call me fat anymore. It's to tell me I'm losing my hair.
Your hair is a cross between Gunner Stockton and our guy Sinceri.
It gets us all, dude.
Woof.
Oh, shit.
So there was some news today. LaDamian Guyton, 5-star out of Savannah Christian, committed to Texas Tech. It's for a lot of money. You already knew that. Now, my intel tells me he very well could end up at Texas Tech, but I've also been told that he and his camp are using this as a leverage play. They know Texas Tech is going to give them a lot of money. I don't know if they're going to end up at Texas Tech, but they're going to end up probably wherever they're getting a lot of money. All right, and my impression of this is that, yes, he will most likely listen to Georgia. But if he's flipping anywhere, it's for somewhere that he's getting a bigger paycheck from, is what it sounds like to me. That's what the intel I'm getting out of this. This is we're going where this is all leverage play. This is all, so I don't think it's going to be Georgia out of anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall. When you get a guy that's going to commit this early and a team like Texas Tech pops up in the mix, we kind of all saw that this is probably going to be not Georgia at the very least. So it's a disappointing outcome, but I don't think anyone was shocked by it.
Well, I think too, like when you talk about writing was on the wall we've talked about LaDamian Guyton for the last 2 years or so on this show, and it's always talked about like Georgia's certainly going to be after this guy, and then it was like within a blink of an eye, all of a sudden, hey, Texas Tech, legitimate threat.
I don't know what these kids are supposed to say. They're not supposed to be honest, because if they're honest, everyone's going to cook them anyways. But his comments about why he chose Texas Tech are just going to infuriate people. And again, I know he's not supposed to tell the truth, but he talks about how it was, I think the quote was, it was the consistency and the family feel. Well, there's kind of facts about this, right? Like Texas Tech showed up in this recruitment in May. They offered this kid in May. So they were consistent for 3 months. He got an offer from Georgia when he was 14 years old. There are programs that have been pouring into this recruitment for a long time. And this was just a May to August thing, and now it's done. In fact, I was under the impression that he might have ended up reclassing had he not been able to, or had he been able to get the credits in time. So I just, the consistency thing, the family feel thing, it's just like, I know what you're supposed, I know you're not allowed to tell us that they gave me $900,000 as a true freshman and offered me $3.5 million over 3 years. Why wouldn't I take it?
Yeah.
I know you're not allowed to say that. Sometimes I just wish you'd say that.
I think
we could say it for him.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to see through the BS of all that, and that's what it is. I don't want to tarnish what the kid did. Congratulations, you just committed, and you've probably made yourself a lot of money. I have no hate towards that, but like we've all said, like be honest and be consistent.
Again, it's never going to happen.
I mean, well, you're also you're going to get cooked either way, because for as many people are saying, well, we know you're not telling the truth, there's going to be other people out there, well, college players are admitting they're going to schools for money now. The sport really is cooked.
Did Justice get that? Justice Terry's the only player that was like, yeah, no, they gave me a lot of money.
There was another, I don't even know who the recruit was. I just remember, I think it was this summer, a recruit announcing his commitment day, and I think the literal caption was
Corey Hayward.
Yeah, it was like
the Georgia kid.
Time to get that bag.
Time to get that bag.
It's time to get paid.
Yeah, time to get paid. That's what it was.
It was the defensive end for Valdosta.
Now we're talking.
That's a 3-star.
Now we're talking.
Corey
baby.
Howard.
Respect.
So yeah, total respect to that. People in the chat want to know if I've tried the 2053s yet. Not yet. We're gonna get after that.
He's been conditioning.
Conditioning.
You've been conditioning for it.
I ain't been testing. I ain't been doing nothing. Nothing but a couple hundred push-ups a day over here.
All right.
It's season. I ain't a lot of time to be working out.
So there's that. So Guyton, I don't think it ends up being a Georgia thing. Now they're going to stay in the mix. He'll probably still listen to them. But I mean, you're getting $3 million from Texas Tech. Georgia ain't getting to that. I don't think.
No.
All right.
Probably not.
What we need to do now is let you know that the world ain't ending. Okay, like if there's anything in 2027 that is a plethora and in abundance, it's edge rushers. Okay, even in the state of Georgia, we're going to take a look at 3 of them right now.
All right, so the primary name you need to know, in my opinion, is David Jacobs Jr. Now, David Jacobs Jr. and LaDainian Guyton are going to go neck and neck in terms of highest rated players. So we're going to watch LaDainian first and show you what you ultimately missed out on, and then we're going to tell you and show you what's available still in the recruitment class. Okay, so here is Guyton. Again, I've been on the record. I think every time Georgia loses a player, Brooks, people come on here and expect me to crap on him or whatever you think is going to happen. I've been on the record saying this might be the best football player I ever cover. All right, best prospect I ever cover. That's what I felt about this kid when he was 14 years old. I still feel that about him. He is tremendously talented. He is an NFL body right now at 16 years old. So there's that. Let's watch him on tape and you can see what I'm talking about. The twitch and athleticism are just insane. There is just so much stuff that this kid does as a 16-year-old that are just beyond crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, buddy.
That looked painful.
I mean, guys, we're going to watch a true freshman in Elijah Griffin play it this year at Georgia. And he played next to him for a long time. And I would go watch these guys thinking 18 might be the better player sometimes. It got that crazy at times in high school for this kid. Now, he's transferred. He's gone to Benedictine at this point. This is him at Savannah Christian. But there's no doubt this is an elite football player. All right. See him playing with some instincts right there, getting inside of a down block from the right tackle. Playing low-level high school football, but I don't give a damn. When you're this athletic and this twitchy and this highly touted in terms of your athletic skills and traits.
I mean, you can definitely see why it's...
Yeah, dude. I mean, an NFL player. He's an NFL player. They felt that way about him. They were going to invest in recruiting him that way, just not to a $3 million price point. All right. Now, this is David Jacobs. This is 6'5". It's 2 totally different type of body styles, right? LaDainian looks more like Nolan Smith. This player, I'm going to say, looks more like Damon Wilson from a height and weight speed standpoint, okay? And twitch and athleticism, all right? So let's take a look at this player right here. Here he is. NFL pedigree as well. His younger brother is going to be a Power 5 football player. All right. The other thing that I've heard about Jacobs, he came to Georgia this year during the summer. And you got to understand, these 5-stars that come to Georgia during the summer, they don't have to camp. Like, they want them to camp. They don't have to camp. I was told it was, hey, David, you can stop. You can stop taking reps now. We're good. It got to that point with David at this summer camp. So the work ethic is there on a 6'6", 235-pounder, okay? This is an elite pedigree right here from a highway speed standpoint.
Oh,
Jesus.
man. You can see the weight behind his hits.
Yeah. I can't express to you how smooth of an athlete this kid is at 6'6". He could go play power forward right now, I think, and I don't even know if he's got any hoop skills. He moves like that. He could go be a 3-and-D guy tomorrow. Boom. Good bend right there. Here he is over here. I think that's his little brother. That's a true freshman, by the way.
BT's got some dudes, man.
Yeah, man.
Take his helmet off?
Almost. Dead body. This is Kel. I was at this game. We were doing Friday Night's Mike right here, I think. Or maybe just watching this one for fun.
Kel get a new field?
Yeah. Oh, no, they re-turfed it a while ago. They put this logo in the middle.
I was going to say, that's a new logo.
Yeah. All right, so the other thing about this kid, I think he's probably playing at 220 right here. This is a 240-pound frame immediately once he gets to college. He's going to swell. All right, so that is David Jacobs. Again, an elite. I think if I had to tell you, like, hey, if you had to bet your mortgage on who's going to be a first-round draft pick between LaDainian Guyton and David Jacobs, I'd probably put the mortgage on Jacobs. You know what I mean? Like, Salmon Pimba was a 5-star freak coming out of IMG Academy. They don't always work out, you know? So, like, there are certain, but then again, Damon Wilson was a 5-star. And I don't know if that's, when we say Damon's worked out, I don't think Damon's worked out.
I don't know yet.
Up to now, I wouldn't say.
TBD?
Yeah.
To be determined on Damon Wilson. So
this is not film that we need to watch for this hour.
Oh, this is...
we were going to watch that in the national hour, but didn't get to it. The hoops tape is what we have to watch.
Well, we needed to watch Justin Weeks from Pace as well, but we're going to skip it apparently. So this is Success Nwadube?
Something like that.
We need to wait for Glenn Schumann to correct us to know how to pronounce this kid.
Success Nwabude. I think I got that.
Yeah.
Success Nwabude. Now, Success Nwabude is 6'7", 250 pounds. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I feel like the end's probably silent, like Williams Winery.
Wadube?
Probably.
All right. Wadube. All right, so we're going to watch hoops tape from the big fella right here, Jonathan.
Yeah, then after this, I can pull up Weeks.
I was about to say, do you want to, we don't have to pull up Weeks. Do you want to go ahead and give me some breakdown on this here hoops tape? Why are people disappearing, by the way? Do you see that?
Yeah, there's like a blur or something like that on the camera.
Okay.
The only thing I noticed when I watched this is not much touch around the rim, which indicates to me this is a very strong and big, like has huge hands.
Yeah.
Like a guy that has huge hands is not going to have great touch around the rim, and he's also super strong. So there's one clip in here, I think it's like, you'll see in a little bit of him closing space between a player down the court and he chase down blocks him. It's the most impressive clip in here.
Okay, let's wait for that because that's what we're looking for. Also, by the way, your talk about not a lot of touch around the rim, you just described every basketball to football convert. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got no finesse.
Like, there's some clips in here where he's about to shoot and it just cuts the clip.
Oof!
Yeah.
Is this one of those cut to clips?
No, this one.
Baseline. Showing some athleticism right there. It's a good little catch.
Yeah.
Right there in the bottom.
Really good athlete. This one's just going to be a rebound.
Okay.
Not much to take note of.
I got shooter.
Yeah, just.
Okay. Where's this chase down block?
Right here.
Right here. Oh, my. Oh my! The 3 steps, dude. The amount of ground that he covered right there. Holy crap! Right there. Boom. Turn it on. Whoa.
He literally took 3 steps.
After that,
so again, I don't even know how much football that guy's been playing. I mean, we don't even have football tape, but he's got a Georgia offer.
Boy, I understand why.
Yeah, I don't think he's played ball at all.
Height, weight, and speed, dude. It's all that matters.
All right, let's set the props. I think this is a good segment. Do y'all want to do this, or do y'all want to save this for later and talk about A.J. Brown?
Let's talk about A.J. Brown.
Let's do this. Let's set this story up for me, Curb. By the way, I need a white balance.
All right, so A.J. Brown, Eagles wide receiver, Super Bowl champion, played for the Ole Miss Rebels in the from 2014 to 2016, I believe. Was on Pardon My Take earlier this week, was talking about how his college recruitment process happened and revealed how he had an offer from the University of Georgia. He was being actively committed from the University of Georgia. He considered going there, but decided ultimately that it was not the place for him because they wore black socks in their uniforms.
Which, by the way, they no longer do.
No.
Yeah.
You can wear white socks nowadays under the Kirby Smart regime.
This was the Mark Richt era, 2014. So Mark
you know what he does do now, though? He wears black socks for the Philadelphia Eagles.
But does he wear them with white cleats?
I don't know.
I think his thing was the monotone look.
Well, he said that black makes him feel slow. He said black socks make me feel slow. I feel fast and white.
But does he? I'm sure he wears the black socks with a certain uniform that they wear.
Yeah,
it's like it's a aesthetic thing.
Yeah,
but I thought this was really, really goofy. To be honest with you,
yeah,
but
it is.
I would do the same thing,
and that's why it prompted this topic that I thought would be just like it is a perfect show topic for us. Top 5 most obscure reasons you would not commit to a football program.
Number 5. They wear Adidas. If you're wearing Adidas, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm a 5-star recruit, and if I go to Nike or if I go to Jordan school, I get free stuff. Are you kidding me? I'm a sneakerhead. I mean, look at the stage. I mean, I don't wear Adidas. We don't do it, even though I committed to an Adidas school out of college. But out of high school, I had no choices, though. It was either go to an Adidas school or don't play ball. Number 4, they don't allow player podcasts or personalities, okay? If you're, now, I don't think these exist anymore, but if I were a 17-year-old that was recruited to play wherever I wanted, oh my God, I would be immediately on the Instagrams, the Twitches, the TikToks. Like, we would be making myself a brand the day that I got there, to the point where I would be in coach's office and be like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, trying to get to this bread, sir. Like, I was this limited time offer. I got to get to it. Number 3. This one's very, very important. It also plays into number 2. Number 3. If Ma Dukes don't like the color scheme, if she can't rock it, we weren't allowed to wear it. We weren't allowed to go there. If Mama didn't look good in it, we weren't allowed to go.
Leanne Tui style.
Absolutely.
We'll not wear that gaudy
2,
orange.
because I am my mother's child. If I don't like the color schemes, we're out. I'm sorry. But if I had opportunities to play everywhere in the world, there's no way I'm wearing that Tennessee orange. If I had every opportunity in the world, there's no way I'm wearing that white and blue baby, or like plain aesthetic uniform that is Penn State. We're just not going there. And number 1, I don't think this is obscure. This is just a fact. I'm a 17-year-old male. You better have prospects. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You better have prospects. And some of them Northwest schools, you ain't got no prospects.
It's a realistic situation to have a desire to go there.
My top 5. My first one, I just put it as if you're a non-Nike school. Under Armour, Adidas, whatever. Like, if you're not a Nike school, I ain't going there. Number 2, South Carolina, because of that stupid chicken noise that they do on third downs.
The big cock.
I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I cannot listen to that for an entire game. Just can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't be annoyed with my own home environment. Like, that's just not acceptable. Number 3, any school that doesn't play in a stadium on campus, looking at you, Miami, like, if I'm not smack in the middle of this college town, that's where my stadium is. If I don't get the full college environment at my own stadium, why would I go play there? I need to be right
take
there.
A 45-minute bus ride.
That's not even that obscure of a reason. That's like a legitimately good reason. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean, coach? We have to take a 45-minute bus ride to play a home game?
Ain't doing it. If you're playing an NFL stadium, ain't doing it. Like Syracuse to an extent. Sorry, Fran. I don't want to play in a dome. I want to play in a college stadium. It's got to feel like a college environment. Yeah, you're probably right.
You want to play in a dome up there.
A dome, but again, I don't want to go play there. Number 4, if all of my away games require a plane ride, I'm out. UCLA, Stanford, Cal, like all those schools right now where we're taking East Coast trips every other week, like I'm not doing that. And I know that it's private. It's a little more of a luxurious style of travel, but I just don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with all that. I don't want to be taking an 8-hour, 4-hour plane ride across the country just to go get my teeth beat in or whatever,
Also valid.
And then my final one. If there is no food scene in this college town, I'm out. I gotta have great restaurants. I gotta multiple great restaurants. I'm not talking about we got one just staple of this town. It's the best food you'll ever. I need multiple. I need the food scene to be immaculate.
What's your favorite Athens restaurant?
I'm a big trapeze guy.
Trapeze is good.
Trapeze is good. I like the burger joint. What's that place called?
Clocked is solid.
Good spot.
They got the good secret sauce.
Yeah, they do.
All right, so I somewhat misread what this premise was. I didn't realize it was 5 obscure reasons, me personally.
If we had a subscriber for every time that happened.
Yeah, for real. So I did just 5 most obscure reasons a commit in general, a prospect in general would rationalize. I didn't commit there because of this. Number 1, scared of the mascot. This does happen. You can I can't.
Fearful of the mascot?
Dude, there is a Georgia football player that is afraid of dogs that will not go within 10 feet of Uga.
Who is it?
I don't know. He's a linebacker. Prominent linebacker.
It's Raylan.
Allegedly. No, it's not. Number 2, the location is too close to my family. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to leave my hometown. I don't want to talk to these people. I'm trying to go make it big. School A is a little too close. I don't want my mom being able to drive an hour away. Number 3, I just want to play against worse competition. I don't want to go against the dogs. I want to have an opportunity to start and make a name for myself and be a star. I can't do that in the SEC. I can't do it in the Big Ten. I need to go to a smaller school. Number 4, the academics weren't rigorous enough. I'm here to play. I'm not here to play football. I'm here to get my education. I want to go to an academic school. I need a Yale. I need a Syracuse. I need a Harvard. And then number 5.
Hold on. Him adding Syracuse into that mix is only because he's a journalism major.
I mean, yeah.
Right? Syracuse ain't out here pumping out doctors, are they?
I mean, every school's pumping out doctors.
I mean, but is that higher learning? Does Syracuse is it included in higher learning, or is it just a great journalism school?
I think it's that. I think it's a great journalism school. But
Okay.
Number 5, and this is somewhat of a shot at a legend. The other players smoke weed. Can't have that. Can't be having them smoking on the visits.
Man, do you think Calvin Johnson would have played longer in the league had he been smoking some weed?
Maybe. I don't know. I did in a
solid point. No,
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
he is Mr. Weed now. Like, you think Ricky Williams likes dope? Go have a conversation with Calvin Johnson right about now. He's all about weed.
I did jot down 3 reasons I wouldn't during the show, just in case you wanted those as well. Number 1, the team couldn't promise me a cool number. If I'm a 5-star recruit, I'm not walking onto the field as number 35
won't take the number lumps as a freshman.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be in the 40s. I need something cool, coach. I need to have a number, and I need to have it all as long as I'm there. Number 2 is no nightlife. Obviously, this is a big one. If I leave my practice facility and there's nothing to do, and it's we're going to hang out in our houses all day, miss me with that. And number 3, if the school is Alabama, I would never play there.
Why Alabama?
I just hate Alabama, dude. Can't go there. And not cool color scheme. Mid jerseys, color scheme, maroon. When do you on a normal day wear something maroon? Do you have a shirt in your closet that's maroon? You go, damn, this looks tough.
Yeah, golf shirt.
Golf shirt, all right. Other than
Their
that,
white uniforms are pretty good.
yeah, white.
I don't know.
Are you crapping on Oklahoma here?
I'm crapping on Alabama.
Alabama. He said he would not play for Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, I just crapped on Penn State's unis, and they're basically that.
Yeah.
With a number on the side.
Yeah. Oh,
but I think it looks aesthetically more pleasing than the.
That's because you're a big Auburn guy. That's why.
Oh, that's right.
I guess
You're
I'm
a big Auburn
guy
Tiger guy.
Yeah, big wiggle over here.
I don't know about that.
I'm good. Y'all good?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. We'll have some type of sub episode for you guys tomorrow, I would imagine. If not, we'll see you on Monday here at 8 o'clock. Love you. Bye.